This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits. You don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me?
We get you, sir!
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Ratcats up next!
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits. You don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me?
We get you, sir!
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Ratcats up next!
Hang on, guys. I'm having bandwidth issues here. Sorry about that.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits. You don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me?
We get you, sir!
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Ratcats up next!
There now. Hopefully this works. Hopefully not too overbearing. I don't know how the sound is. I'm live on location in San Diego, California. Let me know that we're good. You know, give me a one in the chat. They're not live. They're live from San Diego. Okay, everybody can do it. Hooray. Sorry, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I was up to about 2 in the morning last night at the morning bar, so that's stupid. The Teddy bar. My voice is drowned out by the music? Yeah, that's probably because I have okay, cancellation, man. That's okay. No worries. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it for you right now. Oh boy, our good friend Coral would like to start us off today, I think. Where we go? There we are. Oops, let's put that.
The only way a woman will fall for you is if you activate her main character syndrome. Unlike men who are aroused by visual cues, women are aroused by psychological ones. Like if you think about it, the most popular form of literature for women is erotica that revolves around an often oblivious woman and a relentless man. Think The Notebook. So this is called mirror activation in neuroscience, which means when a woman becomes aroused, areas of her brain that stimulate empathy and mentalizing light up, meaning she's imagining how you're feeling about her. Her level of excitement is proportionate to you viewing her as an individual rather than a subject of desire. She's the object of it. You see, you have to mirror our internal erotic self-image. So the best view we have of ourselves, i.e. the main character in an erotica novel or film, that's how we need you to view us.
piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
That's right, the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash.
What have you made?
Oh, but there's more.
Is on what women find attractive to men. One, their ability to signal resources. If you got the Range Rover and the Panerai, fine. But you don't even need those yet. You need to have a plan. I'm going to school to learn how to install energy-efficient HVAC heaters. I got a plan. I'm going to be able to provide. Two,
There's your High Valley guy.
intellect. The fastest way to communicate intellect is to be funny. But the third thing, and it's lesser known, and I think it's kind of a secret weapon, is kindness. And I think there's a differentiation between being kind and nice. I think women notice when you're being really nice to them, but you're not necessarily a kind person.
How would you delineate between the two?
You're being so nice, complimenting her because you're hoping to get her to like you and have sex with you.
No, that's called simping, Scott. I'm sure he'll come around to that. At some point, he's going to go so red pill, he'll start using our vernacular.
As opposed to planting trees the shade of which you won't live under, holding doors open for people, being patient, small acts of kindness.
It's all simping by order of degree, Scott. Sooner or later, you'll get that. You're an economist. Eventually, you're going to get that.
With no reciprocal expectation. Because the reality is a woman is going to be vulnerable during gestation. And
Okay,
instinctively, they want to know someone is going to be kind. I think that's kind of the secret weapon. What I tell men is to start establishing a kindness practice such that it becomes second nature, and women will notice. You know, the whole notion around the bad boy effect, I think that works in the short term, but I think ultimately who women partner with and who they're drawn to, and the research shows, is kindness.
Lucky you. Sooner or later, you're going to get this. Oh boy, do I have some info for you today on Scott Galloway. Oh, but do these chicks look like they're concerned with kindness?
Your size.
I am 6'3". That's 1.9 something meters.
I did the math.
About your men's size.
She sure Russian, but she sure knew how to ask that. She did not ask nothing. Oh, wow.
My meat.
Banana size.
Oh, it's decent, so no worries. That's okay.
I need big.
I need big.
Okay, I got you.
Did y'all translate that for her or something? Whoa.
You think she cares about how kind this brother is?
Well, okay. Does that work for you? You said it's decent.
Это вот такое?
She wants inches.
What are they doing in Russia? Putin, what is this?
Oh, you're Russian.
I love y'all. She's Russian. Russian queen. Does that answer your question, or you want him to get very specific?
Да, interesting for me size. Size, banana size.
Oh. Do you want to specify, or are you content?
I'm good.
Okay, he's not going. Okay.
You don't know?
I know how big I am. I just don't like to.
How many?
Good enough. How about that?
Такое.
Okay, he's not comfortable. Okay.
It's good for me.
Okay, that works for you?
Да.
Okay.
Da. Davastanya, comrade. Okay, I have to play this without the music because I'll get a copyright. You guys ready to sign up for this? You think these chicks respect their guy? Huh? Look how far away this chick is from this one. Sorry, no sound on this because I'm just going to get a copyright strike for the music. But I want this to stay in the feed. Oh, look, do you think they have respect, like Tucker always says?
Respect for her husband is the basis of a family. and you can't dissuade her from it, and she can smell it. Anything
Woman's intuition.
is the realest thing there is.
Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Why am I singing a Christmas song for Thanksgiving? Because I'm already decorated for Christmas. But we just wanted to come and say, have an amazing Thanksgiving with your friends, with your family. Even if you're by yourself, there's always something to be thankful for.
Always.
Let me go.
I'm asking you now, but get over here.
What? Happy Thanksgiving.
Aren't you glad you married a high value guy like this?
Stop, honey, you're being annoying. Stop, you're being annoying now.
See how fast guys become nonchalant in relationship? Watch until the end.
Honey, come on, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
No, I heard you. I'm annoying. No, I got it.
What are you doing?
I'm sitting down. I don't want to annoy you.
What are you doing? I thought we were going out to lunch. Where are you going?
I'm going over here. I don't want to annoy you.
Oh my god. What are you doing up here? You folding your laundry?
Yeah.
I was just wanting to see what you were doing.
Clean. Putting on my clothes right and folding them.
Do you want to hang out with me?
No! Leave me alone. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be touched. You know, stop laughing at me. Don't touch my face!
Okay, do I know this is staged? Yes, I know this is staged. Most people don't have videographers around them. I know that's staged, but the message is clear. I'm just gonna say, was he a high value man? Well, let's see. Is this guy a high value man?
Chick basically on my plane, and she had a boyfriend, and then the boyfriend would start calling her, and then I saw such that you almost lose faith in humanity sometimes. She literally turned her phone off. Was me all night, turns the phone on at breakfast and was like, hey, have you fed the dog? Not like, hey, how are you doing? Not like, sorry, I turned the bro, after a photo goes up of your girl on somebody's plane, then she ghosts you for 18 hours or whatever, and then hits you up about feeding the dog, and then that dude married her. And even then when they were engaged, she hit me up in Italy trying to meet me on a yacht, hang me while they were there engaged with her family. Bro, that I've seen is so fucked up. I stopped, I basically made a rule, I wasn't gonna any chick that had a boyfriend.
Yeah. See, he's a high value dude. Does Dan Bilzerian have a degree in anything? I know he was a Navy SEAL. Does he have a degree? Does he have an advanced degree? I mean, he makes a shit ton of money, don't get me wrong. Comes from a lot of money too. I know. Dan's a friend, but wow.
Are expensive. Who pays for the flights?
I do.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. Who pays for coffee?
I do. Every day it's quite expensive.
I'm so generous. Who pays for the hotels?
You do.
I do.
Thank you, babe. Who pays for all the groceries?
Wait till the end.
Do.
I do. Who pays for rent?
I do.
You do, babe. Thank you.
Who is paying $100 for groceries? Get the fuck out of here.
Pays for restaurants when we eat out?
Oh, you do. All the nice dinners.
I do. All the nice dinners. Who pays for Netflix?
I do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
I love
babe.
my shows.
Yeah, you do. Who pays for all the clothes and stuff when we go shopping?
I do.
You do, babe.
I like styling you.
Yeah, you
Thank
do.
You. Yeah.
And who pays all that with my card?
I do.
All right, last one. Let's talk about banana size.
It's proven to me that sometimes the best things come in the smallest packages. And sometimes small packages have medium-sized packages. But now I have to choose.
Tiffany, wait. Before you do,
Tiffany?
we have
Tiffany,
one final twist.
What?
I have one more bachelor to introduce into the game. Meet Jackson.
Yeah, I choose him.
Whoops. Nope, not supposed to yet. You don't know anything
That won't
about...
matter.
Well, let's get to know him anyway. Jackson, tell Tiffany a little about yourself.
3 things about me is that I'm from Pittsburgh. I technically still have a girlfriend, and I need to borrow $200,000.
You win.
Oh, wow, it's tiny, just like them.
Tiffany, are you sure you don't want to think about this? And okay,
Okay. Sorry about technical difficulties. Geez, sue me. All right. Hopefully the stream's going to be good. I'm on, I think it's 20K here. So like if I look like I'm a little lower res because I'm shooting at 720 right now because I don't have enough bandwidth to go 1080 right now. So bear with me. This is the Hyatt hotel Wi-Fi. I have to go on Wi-Fi. Usually when I'm streaming from home or if I'm streaming from the studio, we just like jack in to the network. We hardline in. So I don't worry about things like this. But then when I'm traveling and I bring my traveling rig, and I thought I did pretty good today too. Like I even brought the good camera and everything. Let's see, there we go. I brought my studio, my traveling light, my traveling rig. I'm in thank you. I'm where am I at? I am in San Diego right now. I'm in La Jolla, actually, at the Hyatt in La Jolla. I was here for the Babes in Toyland, or it's not Babes in Toyland, the Teddy Ball last night. Myself and Mike Sartain and Harper Raines and Jen Brand was with us. Joe Marron, my partner from Reignite. We were all out here. It wasn't an official Reignite thing. I had a couple of guys from Reignite. My Reignite group was here. And by the way, if you want to join Reignite, there's the subscription link right there. But I had a couple of guys out. It was an unofficial Reignite thing, I guess. I don't know. I've been here since Friday evening, and I'm leaving tomorrow. So what I do whenever I come and do a weekend gig is I have to stay one extra night. The reason why I do that is because I don't want to jump on a plane, fly back to Vegas, run into my studio, set everything up, and then go stream as soon as I walk off the plane. And most of the times I can't even do that because of scheduling. So I just take an extra day here, and I had points, so this time it's good. And so I usually do a stream. This is a hotel stream. Look, the cuck chair is right. Would you like to see the cuck chair here? There's the cuck chairs right over. There's the cuck chair. Well, I should sit in the cuck chair. Should I just go sit in the cuck chair and do that? Right, there's a cuck. Oh my God. No. So there we go. So we were here. We did. We raised. I don't know how much money they raised at the charity last night. I didn't stick around for that. It ended at 1 a.m., but we were like already out, like kind of like moseying around at that point. But it was a really great event. God, there was a lot of people here. I mean, like there had to be 1,000 people here. There was a lot of people in this one, and it's at the, like I said, it's at the Hyatt in La Jolla, and they have a really nice facility here. They got a good pool area. They got the restaurants are here are great. Highly recommended, A+. So, what do we got? Do I have a couple? Let me grab a couple of these real quick. Thanks. Sam Bada's in the chat. So play nice. Hey, Unc, I love the work. Red Pill Wear, 28, 6'5", 12% body fat at 240 pounds, med student, lots of female success now. Should I still wait until 34 once I finished surgical training to settle? Yeah, you should. Since you're studying to be a surgeon, I presume. You're a med student, so I guess you're studying to be a surgeon. You didn't say surgeon. Yeah, I would say I'm going to tell you to hold off as long as you can, right? You're 34, and if are you doing residency? You might be doing residency. If you're still doing your residency, like, why would you? You'll be in a much better spot when you get to be about 36 years old. That's when I usually peg guys being about, hitting their prime. And you'll eventually, I mean, God, man, you're 12% body fat and you're 6'5". Fuck, dude. What are you, like, mystery? Although mystery's probably not 12% body fat. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I would definitely still say that. Do you want to I'm glad you brought this up because you're kind of like the prime example of what I'm going to use as a quote unquote high value man today. According, not to me, but according to a lot of these a lot of these old now, Evo Psych kind of grifters, right? And the thing that gets me is like, I have noticed this trend, and I mean, I can't really say Scott Galloway is one of them because Scott is an economist, right? He's got a business. He doesn't have a psychology degree. He doesn't have a degree in sociology. He doesn't have it. Like, if we're going to talk about credentialism, which we're going to talk about a little bit today, like I have a degree in psychology. I have a BA in behavioral psychology. I have a BFA by Bachelor's of Fine Art as well. I double majored. Okay. So I have those. I have a little bit of that background, but most of my knowledge of psychology anyways comes from reading a lot and being very into what I'm doing, right? So evolutionary psychology, I probably would have majored in evolutionary psychology, but behavioral psychology was the only thing that was going at UNR when I was there. So they didn't really have, I mean, they do now, but they didn't at the time have an Evo Psych program there. So behavioral psychology seemed to me to be the most nuts and bolts version of psychology. It wasn't touchy-feely. It wasn't this humanist, fainting couch, talk about your feelings kind of thing. It wasn't like psychotherapy. It was much more A plus B equals C, and that's why I kind of stuck to behaviorism. And I used quite a bit of it in the early days, back in the mid-2000s, when we were having discussions on like the social forums. But again, I don't necessarily see that as like sort of quote unquote credentialism, because everybody wants to go, well, how come you don't have a master's, Rollo? How come you don't have a doctorate, Rollo? What? If you went back to school and you got a doctorate, people would take you more seriously. And I'm like, so I'm 57 right now. How long would it take me to get a doctorate? It's like, I would be building up from a master's to a doctorate, right? What, 4 years, 6 years? Do I need to? Because if you're not listening to me now without the doctorate, you're sure as fuck not going to listen to me like 6 years from now while I'm saying the same thing. And you go, you're an old man, fuck off. But anyways, to answer your question, I would say, yeah, hold off as long as you can. The other thing is why are you considering getting into a long-term relationship at your age? I should say that at your stage of like maturity, your stage of success. Are you thinking about, do you feel like you have to? Do you want to? You could just simply be like, oh, I'm the kind of guy who wants to have a wife and kids. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I just want to know what your plans are. Like, what do you want? What else you got? Orion got 950,000 subs by copying your material. Yeah, of course. We could talk about Orion Taraban if you want to. I don't care. Like, I'm on the fence about Orion Taraban right now. Obviously, the guy lifts my material. He's probably going to watch. Hi, Orion. Is that his real name? I'm dead certain the guy watches my stuff. I'm dead certain he reads my material because there's so much stuff in his book. There's so much stuff that he does and he produces. No doubt tomorrow he's going to start talking about high value men. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And the reason I'm going to talk about that is because I got into a Twitter exchange, and it was actually based on this. Let me put this up here real quick. It was based on this this tweet here. I don't know who Defiant Baptist is. I don't know who most of these people are anyways. Most of them, by the way, are from India or South and West Asia. There's this great new feature, by the way, on Twitter right now, where if you go to all you need to do is like, if you go to a user's profile and you click on the date that they joined, it'll automatically link you straight to the about this account. And you can see, thank you, Elon. Thank you. This is the best thing Elon Musk has ever done. I take back everything bad I said about you. But now you can see the country of origin where that account is. And so I'm going in, I'm looking at all these thirst trap accounts or all these, they're usually question accounts, right? Like, men, what do you think of this, right? Knowing that it's like agitprop. They know that's going to be an agitating type thing. And the thing that gets me, and this is something that I think more tradcons need to be aware of. I'm trying to do you a favor here. I'm doing you a solid with this. I don't know why I am, but here's the solid tradcon guys. Look for where the country of origin is of the next thing you decide to repost about, oh, this is what's true about men and women, or look, it's the red pill. The red pill's just feminism for men, right? Look where you like, and then they'll like retweet somebody else's post, right? who they're retweeting is probably from Nigeria, probably from South Africa, probably from Estonia, probably from Pakistan, a lot of them in Pakistan, a lot of them in Southeast Asia. And basically what they are is they're bot farms. They're trying to get you to restart conversations, because when you do that, they get more Elon bucks. They get the engagement dollars and their engagement farming, but they're not doing the farming. You're doing it for them, because what they do is ask these open-ended questions, and they throw out some unsupported, uncited, source-cited statistics or something like that. And people go and they take it as fucking gospel. That's a real problem, tradcons. Oh, stop it with this bullshit, okay? Look where it came from. Verify sources. It's not that fucking hard, and Elon just made it that much easier for you to do. I'm so sick of seeing these like stats and this, and oh, look, here's a graph and all this other shit. And then you look where it came from. And then you look at how many people are responding to this. Like some of these accounts that like, it's just like a one-line question. And then maybe it's some statement of fact. Like, do you agree with this? Men, how come the red pill is like this? Right. And then everybody has to opine. And so what happens is they get all this engagement, and sometimes from other bots that are repeating their same quote, right? So they're essentially taking the Andrew Tate methodology, the Andrew Tate school of rebroadcasting your signal over and over again. But that now they've automated it. Imagine, because remember, in 2022, when Andrew Tate farmed out all of his engagement to all of his sort of sub accounts, right? You had to pay like $49.99, $50, so that you had an exclusive license to rebroadcast Tate's material, right? And you could make some money back on it too, because your channel would because there's so many of them. What happens is he gamed the algorithm at the time. The algorithm is not like this anymore for YouTube, but at the time it was. He didn't break any rules. In fact, he gamed the system so well that they had to change the rules so that people couldn't do that anymore. So what he would do is he would get a bunch of people. It's like, what was it? Remember the GameStop, AMC, theaters, what was it called, like the short stop or the big short, I don't know, forget what it was, but essentially what they did is they crowdsourced everybody to buy and hold AMC and GameStop stock. I think that's what it was. But it was the element I'm talking about here is the crowdsourcing element of that. And what they did was they got everybody to just say, hey, okay, we're all going to hold, right? The short hold, what was it called? And so what happened is then, because they had forecast that those two stocks were supposed to drop, all of the big players started dropping off where they held it. And then, so what it did was it caused all of these like the hedge fund managers and all these like big, Wall Street guys to lose a shit ton of money. And some people made a ton of money off of it too, right? But essentially, for the first time, what had happened was everybody did this, and they just said, we're all going to do this. Everybody got their stock. Everybody's going to hold, right? We're not going to sell any of this shit off, right? And so they got enough people with enough solidarity to do that. And you got like what companies like Robinhood, like stopping, you couldn't buy or sell those two stocks. But the reason why they did that is because they didn't want the people who made a lot of money to lose on that investment, right? And so that's why they were holding off on that. And so, and I'm probably butchering this. Miguel from Dollar Cost Crypto could probably go into far more detail on this, but I'm not a money guy. He's my money guy. But the long and the short of it was they crowdsourced enough people to play by the rules that it saturated the rules. Right. Same thing happened with Andrew Tate right up until August of 2022. When all the big tech people decided that they were going to short squeeze. Thanks. Short squeeze. That's what it was, wasn't it? So if I'm a little choppy, let me know. I think my bandwidth might be a little jacked up. Right? There we go. Okay. If I can see myself like instead of I might be okay. Anyways, yeah, the short squeeze. That's what it was. GameStop and AMC theaters, correct? I think so. Anyways, so now imagine you don't have to do that anymore because you have AI, and AI will go and step and repeat. It'll copy and paste. It'll step and repeat. You can go create multiple accounts that just rejigger the question a little bit. It's the same question, and then or else they are programmed to reply in the originating tweet. And so what happens, and maybe at some point Elon Musk is going to. Video looks good, thanks. at some point Elon Musk is going to figure out that even putting country of origin on there, that still leaves it up to the user to go and find that out. But like at some point, he's going to have to find some limitations so that real live human beings are actually doing the tweets and messaging and having real conversations instead of bots. And my first, like, this is, I should write a manifesto of some kind for Twitter or for social media or something like that. The Rollo Tomasi manifesto of social media. That's what I should write. Like one of the rules is always verify where the account is coming from before you respond to it, because you're probably just wasting your time, or you're helping them get engagement. Because I have 189,000 followers on Twitter, and it took me a long time to get those. Right? Whereas I'm looking at these other kind of like bullshit accounts, and they're like have more than me, and they haven't even been up for a year. And then, then there's people like Zuby, or there's people like, and Zuby will do the same thing. I love you, Zuby, but like, you'll retweet something, not knowing what the source is and not knowing that it's actually some bot in Pakistan, and you're only making money for that because all you got to do is create a bot farm, and they just rake in engagement dollars. I only have one account, despite contrary to what Destiny and Tree of Logic and Not So Erudite think me having a ghost account that's a secret racist ghost account. I only have one account. My account is you can find me at Rollo Tomasi at Rational Mail. Right? And so when I bring in money from Elon bucks, I just get it for one account. Imagine you have 100 accounts and they're all interacting with those, each one exponentially with those 100 accounts. I don't know how much that comes out to, because I don't know what the hell the algorithm is for making money on Twitter. But Elon, I think that's a great idea. I'm glad you did this, but you need to find some way to curb that shit. So anyways, I want to point that out before we get started here, because I have been enjoying myself by just putting up, hey, you're in Pakistan. This is a bot. Okay. Don't feed the bots. Anyways, I wanted to throw this. This is not a bot though. So a high-value man would much rather marry a sweet girl that works at a coffee shop than a boss babe CEO type that sees herself as his equal or superior. That's just a fact. She should stay at home under her father's roof and focus on attracting such a man. That last part is probably what agitates most feminists, and by the way, most tradcon women, which are basically femme, which is kind of redundant, right? It's an oxymoron. They're the same thing. They're the same chick, right? That's what bothers them. And so one of the things that I've been seeing a lot lately, especially from like the Lila Rose side of the spectrum, and really sort of the trad femme, like warrior mom, Christ warriors for motherhood, Christ warriors for motherhood. One of the things that I keep seeing is, well, it's not really like that. And I'll tell you, this was a reaction to one of those. I have to share the screen really quickly here. This is Dr. Deborah So. Is she on CNN? Is this the chick that's on CNN? I think I remember her from being on like CNN or something like that. Anyways, this is Dr. Deborah So. She says this. Okay, thanks. Men falling behind in society has led to bitterness and takes like this. The solution is to help men get back on the right track. What the fuck is the right track? What is the right track? Never says that. Never specific about that. Not put down women for being ambitious and successful. How is this in any way condemning women for being rich and successful? It's just pointing out the realities. Okay. And then what happens is this. Then you get D. Malcolm Carson. Well, as I understand it, high value men marrying baristas is not a fact. It's a lie. First off, where's that on here? Okay. So we got coffee shops. We got the boss babe CEO types. Okay. So, but here's the thing. The thing that gets them is as his equal or superior. That's where the real meat of the matter comes in. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, what the fuck are these people talking about? So here's the thing. Now, this is from 2019 to 2023. So it's fairly recent. American Community Survey, 5-year, here, let me just push this up there. 5-year file, married men ages 30 to 54. Okay. So the bottom, okay, these are the earners, 25th percentile, median earners, 75th. Okay, so you're looking at like, okay, well, they're not actually trying to find. See, what they're trying to do is they're trying to establish some form of truth here based on their own criteria. This is why I kept asking this, and like people want to give me shit all the time for like for one incident where I'm talking to Destiny and I'm talking to Sneeko of all people, and they're saying, "What's a high value man? What's a high value man? What's a high value man?" And they also fall into this fucking trap, right? A high value man has to have $100,000 in the bank. He has to have. Myron's very specific about this. Kevin Samuels is very specific about this. I am a lot more subjective when it comes to assessing whether a high value guy is a high value guy. Now, why did I use this? Oops, where did it go? Why did I use Jason Momoa from Chief of War? By the way, that's where this is from. Awesome fucking series on Apple Plus. Why did I use this? Because Jason Momoa, or I should say the guy that he portrays in Chief of War, which is all about the tribes of Hawaii back in the day. Okay. Really good, awesome fucking show. Okay. By anybody's estimate, especially back in the 1600s, I forget when they discovered Hawaii, and it was Captain Cook, I think, who discovered Hawaii. I didn't know this, by the way. All of the islands were named after the tribal chiefs, like Oahu and Maui, and I guess Hawaii. I'm not really sure. But Jason Momoa, the guy he portrays, anyways, I should say, that the chief here, the war chief, is a high value guy, is he not? He has territory. He's got bitches. That's bitches. And he's got resources, or at least such as they are in the chain of the Hawaiian Islands. Okay. You could say the same thing about tribal chieftains in the Amazon rainforest, right? Or what was it? Papua New Guinea. I forget the name of the tribe that's there that Dr. David Buss was talking about in one of his books. Everybody always uses that as an example. Hunter-gatherer tribes. Who's the high-value guy? I mean, there still are hunter-gatherer tribes today in the Serengeti, in the Amazon. They're still tribal people. And you know what makes for a high-value guy is really the defining characteristics of a high-value man in those societies, well, in all societies really, is resources, territory, and the ability to defend it, and access to, usually virgin, but not always, multiple women, so that you can reproduce and create more high-value babies, high-value sons. That's why the firstborn son, that's why having a male heir was so important. It still is. Like, we still can't sort of, like, women today, like feminism can't wrap its head around the fact that men are supremely interested in paternity. And I even talked about that earlier, or I've talked about this a dozen different times. But the thing is that when it comes to paternity, people don't want to, well, how come it's so important? Like, oh, is Andrew Wilson a cuck? Right? He can answer that question for you. I'm just going to say that the definition of cuckoldry is having, taking care of another man's responsibilities for parental investment, right? Because what it is it's a resource drain on that man to invest that into, essentially, if he doesn't reproduce, essentially his own extinction, his genetic line is as an extinction. And so when people ask you, like, well, how come cheating for men is acceptable, and how come cheating for women is like a capital offense? Well, because if we live in a patriarchal society, and if we lived in a true idealistic patriarchal society, a high value man should be able to spread his seed. At least that's the common logic, because you have a guy who's a superior example of humanity. He has territory. He has provisions, provisioning, protection, and parental investment. Right? He has territory, resources, and he's got unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. He can reproduce. The idea is that he should reproduce. He's the chief. He's the chief of war. He should be able. He's a high value dude. He's the guy, and I pointed this out, and still nobody wants to listen to this, but I keep pointing this out in the most general of terms. What is a high value man? Is the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. That's a high value guy. From there, we can scale that up to he's the guy with the territory, he's the guy with the access to resources, and he's the guy that other women want to fuck, right? He's the guy that can reproduce or has the potential to reproduce multiple times. So if you look at Elon Musk, by those terms, I wouldn't say he's necessarily a high value guy, or he's a high value guy, but is he an alpha? No, but he's definitely high value in that he has resources. He has, I guess, territory, and has reproduced 14 times with 8 different women, something like that. So by that estimate, by that arithmetic, he's definitely a high value guy. Is he alpha? Does he really even know what he's doing, or is he just sort of like by default, reproducing? Because if you took Elon Musk and you took away his resources and you took away his territory, does he have access to bitches? Probably not. So really what it comes 14 with 8 different women. Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? So I'm looking at this, and so I look back. Let me put this back up here again, because I thought it was interesting to see. Where's that? Okay. High value. So what's happening here, right? As I understand it, high value men, quote unquote, marrying baristas is not a fact. It's a lie. Well, is it that those guys are actually high value because they make a lot of money, because they're a CEO, because they have access to resources, because they have an advanced degree? Is that what makes them high value? Because that's what assortative mating is trying to sell you right now. Now, I want to point out, okay, so what is assortative mating? Assortative mating is this really kind of general idea that guys who are a 5 get with women who are a 5. Here, I'll show you. This is the ideal right here. It's like this, okay? Look at the regulated sexuality side of this scale here, okay? Strict enforcement of lifelong monogamous bonds between men and women, okay? 4s get with 4s, 5 gets with 5, 6 get with 6, blah, 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 okay? Now, I've used this example on several different occasions, so I won't belabor it too much for you here. Sexual freedom side. This is where we are post-sexual revolution, okay? When you remove those enforcements, and when you have a deregulated sexual marketplace that puts women in control of the human reproductive process, you get the sexual freedom side of this scale. This is classic hypergamy. And we need to talk about hypergamy one more time here, because apparently people need a remedial fucking lesson about this, okay? Without socially enforced long-term monogamous bonds between men and women, this is a quote-unquote CAD society. Why is that? Look at this. 1 to 6 didn't reproduce. 1 and 2s didn't reproduce. Like, if you're really super ugly, ladies, sorry, you're probably not. But if you're a 3, you still got a chance. That's the difference between a deregulated marketplace and a regulated marketplace. On this side, if you look at the regulated side of this whole thing, this is what it looks like, or like ideally. It never was this. I would argue that it never was this. But the regulated sexuality side of the scale is what assortative mating proponents would have you believe is our natural way of reproducing, natural way of mating, natural way of forming pair bonds, doing family formation and all that other shit, okay? The problem is that regulated sexuality is not what our natural impulses are. For men, it is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. For women, it is what you see on the sexual freedom side there, which is hypergamy. I want the best. It's the bigger and better deal. They want to not only marry up, but they want to fuck up, right? And I mean like up the scale. Like a 6 wants to get with a 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, or 9. And not only that, thinks she deserves to, is entitled, because whether it's because she has an overinflated ego or an overinflated sense of her own sexual market value, is sort of irrelevant at this point. The fact is that the perception is that she is entitled to something better than she actually is. Okay. In fact, I've even got a great quote for that here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Let me log this in real quick. This was an interesting tweet that I thought was sort of prophecy fulfilling here. Why don't we like the great guy? And by the way, I did in fact look up Rack, whatever her name is. She is actually from the United States, so she clears. She checks out. There's a man worth $200 million. $200 million, really? Because I know Robert Kiyosaki is worth about $500 million. Who keeps asking me to be his girlfriend? He's smart. We talk history and politics, have amazing, insightful conversations, but there's no spark. And frankly, I don't care about money. Why do women only want men who don't want us? Only want men who don't want us. Interesting. Perhaps it's banana size. Perhaps it's height. Perhaps he's fat. These are other contributing factors to whether or not a guy is high fucking value. The guy, at least in this case, and I'm only going by her word here, is worth $200 million. You would think, and he wants to he's definitely marriage minded. What does she say? Frankly, I don't care about the money. So how does that jive with this? How does that jive with this part right here? High income men overwhelmingly married to a highly educated woman. Well, this is a guy who's clearly the money doesn't matter to her. And I'm only going out on a limb here because I can only presume that the chick is probably, I mean, maybe she's college educated. I don't know. But she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. That's the problem with this bullshit right here. That's a problem with stats like this. Okay? It takes two people to get married. It takes two people to go, yeah, I really think that's great, right? And then, of course, everybody's probably already, I have to check the chat here in a minute. But the thing is like, and I'm sure somebody in the chat's already I can't scroll back through this. I'm sure somebody in the chat's already brought this fact up. Proximity, right? Even, I haven't looked, I have to go dig it up somewhere, but even Rob Henderson was talking about this not too long ago. He was mouthing off about how loser guys are always the ones who are berating women. They're the ones with the worst attitudes about women. Right? Okay, well, what does that entail? What does that mean? What are their attitudes? What do they say? Oh, they're misogynist. Well, okay, what in your description, your definition, Rob, what is a misogynist? What qualities, what does that guy have to, if it's, because I could say Rob's a misogynist too. You know why? Because Rob just brings up basically the same kind of information that I do, or even Chris Williamson does, or Steve Stewart Williams, or any of these guys. And a lot of these guys I still have a lot of respect for Rob too. If I go and I say it, and I go and I use their fucking stats, the ones that I find on their channel, and I'll bookmark them on Twitter or whatever. I find they're putting this out there. I hang on to those. You know why I hang on to those? Because sooner or later, Rob's going to say something that contradicts the other one. I'm like, this you? And the reason why when I do that, I'm on mute and he doesn't know. I don't know who this Rollo Tomasi guy is, but let me tell you for the next 45 minutes everything about Rollo Tomasi. He must be a loser. He must not have, he's never had any great relationships before. You clearly have no idea, but I'm not going to hold that against Rob because I still think he, as a statistician and as a sort of research guy, I think he still has a lot of value. So I'm not ready. Like, I'll keep taking it on the chin from Rob because he keeps coming up with good shit, but good shit that I use. And if I use it, I'm a misogynist. If I make you aware of it, I'm the misogynist. I'm here to help Rob look good because he's putting out this stuff, or Steve Stewart Williams, or like who has basically come after the red pill recently too a few times, or David Buss. I'm trying to think who else. You know, what's a Ginger Prometheus? Prometheus dude, whatever what the fuck's that guy's name? Prometheus guy, Ginger dude, the fat guy that's been on Chris Williamson's show 4 times now. It's not about attachment theory, really. Attachment theory died out in the late 80s and early 90s. Okay. And if it didn't then, it's certainly dead now because we've plotted the human genome and we know the 4 laws of genetic behaviorism. Sorry, get a new grift. There's plenty of them to choose from too, but let's let this stop milking a dead cow. Please. So my question is this: when we're talking about like what constitutes a high value guy, as I said before, and I'm trying to answer this as definitively as I possibly can, is a high value guy is that this dude? Is that this guy right here? The guy who's at the top of the spectrum, like at the top of that heap right there. Look how it jumps from like, it drops off and then it jumps precipitously, like right on that one. Where'd it go? There we go. Can you see that better? Yeah, there you go. It jumps right there at the end. Like, what made it jump that high? The top 1% earners among married men. Okay, what does that entail? What are the, you know what? Let's find that out. Let's go to Perplexity. I'm going to go to Perplexity here real quick. So hopefully I have the bandwidth. Let's see, how much money does a man need to earn to be in the top 1% of earners in the United States, in the US? There we go. Okay, what do you have to say? Okay, nationally, a person needs to earn around, I'll put this up here. I'm reading this from Perplexity right now. Nationally, a person needs to earn around the high six figures per year to be in the top 1% of earners, with exact thresholds varying state by state, and by whether you look at individuals or households. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, one breakdown that distinguishes single earners, multi-earners, multi-earner households. Oh, single earners from multi-earner households estimates about $659,000 for a top 1% household and about $450,000 for a single individual to be in the top 1% by income. Okay, there's definitely variations. One of these says, like in Mississippi, it's about 370,000. In West Virginia, it's 420,000. I'm looking at the stats right here. All right, so that's good. So we got a ballpark here. Okay, so $450,000 is the top 1% of earners nationally in the United States. Okay, now, first off, let's break things down here first. Okay, $450,000, right? I have made more than that, and I have made less than that. When I got my degrees, I was not making $450,000 out the gate. Depends on what those degrees are. What do you think if you're coming out of college or you meet your girlfriend who will eventually become your wife, because proximity will eventually meet your wife in college? What career paths do you think earn $450,000? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that even if you have a degree in, you have a master's of business administration, you have a master's of medical, right? You become an attorney. I'm trying to think like high-end earners, right? Like, what do they exactly do? OnlyFans. Yeah, there you go. Women have no problem with OnlyFans, right? I wonder how many women get like $450,000 from the jump, though. You have to build that up. Podcast host. Yes, there. Thank you. Let me tell you something. There's a few of them that probably are earning that. It's one of the cool things. I have a plug. I have a subscription service to what is it? Yeah, vidIQ. vidIQ will tell you what the average earnings are of like certain channels that you're looking for. Don't do that. You will lose all hope in humanity if you do that. Live streamers. Jasmine Jafar equals OnlyFans. Yeah. So, but how much? What do you have to do to make $450,000 out the gate? And then, how long did you spend in college or wherever you went? How long did you have to educate yourself as a man to get to the point where you're making the average of the 1%, which is $450,000, right? What did you have to do? Anesthesiologist? I bet an anesthesiologist makes at least that, right? Probably more. But again, how long did you have to spend in school? 8 years to be an anesthesiologist? Maybe 10. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Like I was you're getting ahead of me there, Gigavat. You're getting ahead of me. I'm coming to that. Stop it. I'm getting to that point. So what do you have to do to make $450,000 besides sell drugs, right? Or so maybe you're selling high-end automobiles. I don't know. But the premise is this. So let's go back here once again and look at the premise here. Okay, so we're looking at high-income men overwhelmingly married to highly educated women. High-earning men overwhelmingly married to highly educated women. Those are two fucking different things, okay? Just because a woman is highly educated does not mean she's making $450,000 right out the fucking gate. What majors? What are the most predominant majors for women coming out of a 4-year university? How about maybe you got your master's, 6 years? 6 years to get a master's degree. Highly educated? I would say master's is highly educated. My daughter has a master's degree. Okay, highly educated. So what I'm asking here is, why is it like, how on earth, like, first of all, I don't think that this is the metric we ought to be using. I mean, I'm just going to fuck everything up here and say that I don't think this is the metric we should use. But I want to understand the thought process of people trying to find some way to contradict the idea that a guy who is made, has a lot of money, has a big dick, is still jacked, is maybe in his mid 30s, maybe late 30s or something like that. He is at the top of his fucking game, and he's going to go. You're telling me that he, like most guys, don't even have a particular type of girl in mind. That's why I was asking the previous guy with the super chat there a minute ago. Why do you want to? Like you're still what is he doing his residency to be a surgeon? Like you're still at that stage where you're not quite made, but you're definitely well on your, assuming everything you say is true. You're well on your way to becoming a high value guy, right? You got to be highly educated to be a surgeon. I would hope so. But do you want to get like maybe I don't know if he's still in the chat, but do you want to get with a chick who is highly educated herself, one of these girls, the highly educated girl? Do you want to get with the highly educated women? Percentage of men with a graduate degree holding wife. Are you looking specifically for? So I want to know that if this is like intent, or this is just happenstance. Like this is just because we happen to be in the same proximity, we went to the same college. Most people will say this, right? And this is the common, kind of comeback to this is that, well, when those two people are in college, that's where they meet. And women and men say the same thing. Like when they were in college, that was one of the best times of their lives because they could fuck the hot guy on the phone cannon party on spring break in Cancun, right? But even Scott Galloway says this in one of his videos. I'll play the video here in a minute. He says this as well, is that when he was in college, one of the things that kept him going to college was not because he really wanted to be a top earner and wanted to like finish. He almost got expelled from UCLA. But if that's the case, like what kept you there? Well, he wanted to be where the hot bitches were. He wanted to be where the chicks were. And I don't blame him. Hell, whatever keeps you. Like the byproduct of him wanting to fuck hot girls was he got a degree from UCLA. Not a bad deal, not a bad trade-off, right? Whatever motivates you, whatever prompts you to get there. This is one of the few occasions I'm probably going to give Scott Galloway his props here. He's not wrong about that. But the thing is he's not there looking for, I'm going to be a financial analyst or whatever the fuck he is. I'm going to be a finance guy. I'm going to make a shit ton of money. I need to find a chick. You guys are going to laugh your ass off. I need to find a chick who has a degree. I need to find a chick who's going to make a lot of money too, and we're both socioeconomically equally yoked, right? I need to find, like, if she's from I'm a high value guy, and that high value, whatever that fucking estimate is, makes me an 8. I need to find another woman who is also high value, who's also an 8, but on the same standards as my education, on the same standards as my intellect, the same standards as everything that a guy has to perform and has to build himself up and has to create that value in himself. I need a woman who can do the same thing. No one is saying that. Absolutely no guy is saying that. Was she hot? Yes. Okay. Does she also have a degree? Awesome. That's just fucking, maybe it's gravy on the fucking turkey, man. Maybe it's icing on the cake. I don't know. I'm not going to say that guys would turn, like, if you have a hot girl, maybe she gets it through OnlyFans, but if you have a really hot fucking girl, you don't care what she's doing to make money. She's hot. She meets all of your criteria right there. Is she hot? Yes. Is she available? Yes. I'm good. Then once you get into the relationship and you realize she's psychotic, then maybe you go, oh man, I should have vetted this girl. Oh, everything's in retrospect, right? But guys don't go and, like, when people ask me, Rolo, how did you vet for Mrs. Tamashi? I did not vet. I vetted myself. I said, is she the kind of person, is she the kind of woman that I can stay faithful to? And the answer was a resounding yes, because she was fun in bed and she was hot. And I'm like, I think I can stay faithful to this one. And then from there, you start seeing these other qualities and like, okay, maybe she's good for the long haul. Maybe she really loves me. She's really into me. I'm into her. Those are considerations. Okay. When I met my wife, I did not have an advanced degree. I didn't have a degree at all. She did not have a degree at all. She had a certification in radio. She was an X-ray tech at the time. She wasn't even doing, I can tell you this now. She wasn't even doing CT scans, which she later learned how to do. Right. But she had that. That's it. And what did I have? I had jack shit. I knew a lot about computers. I knew a lot about graphic design. I knew a lot about art. I knew enough to get a job. I knew enough, by the way, to teach graphic design and desktop publishing back in the mid 90s. And that's what I did. Is I had a job as an adjunct faculty member. That was one of my first jobs as an adjunct faculty member for a community college. And so I didn't have a degree. Now, later I got my degrees. I went back to UNR to get it. Well, when we got married at that time. But now I hold 2 degrees and she doesn't hold any. Do you think I'm going, I really need to dump this bit. I really need, wait a minute, hold on. I really need to dump this bitch because I need to find a chick who's like my intellectual equal, who also has 2 degrees, who also do you think that that's in my head whatsoever? No, it's not. That's why when people start throwing this kind of shit out, where'd it go? People start throwing this kind of stuff out, right? The regulated sexuality. This only, like the regulated sexuality society only works if we have, unspoken rules, right? It only works if it's a social contract. If it's only an implied social contract, and the strict enforcement of lifelong, okay, first of all, that's like in an ideal world, that's the way it would work. But the thing is like for most of human history, it's always been about the sexual freedom side of things. And what's interesting is that the moment you give women free reign over their own sexuality and the human reproductive process, courtesy of hormonal birth control, the moment you do that is the moment you get the sexual freedom side of all this. Now, the guy who did this little graph here was probably trying to put it in moralistic terms, but they sort of inadvertently put it in scientific terms here, because the real mating strategy that women have, that, by the way, has been defining society since like 1965, is the female strategy, the female experience. You wonder why we live in a gynocentric social order? Look no further than the sexual freedom side of this scale right here. Again, I'm not being moralistic. This is just being pragmatic. This is just an observation. I'm not telling you what should and shouldn't be. I'm telling you what is. And what is hypergamy. Very simple. And prior to the sexual revolution, we still had the sexual freedom side of it. We just moderated it and regulated it because of the threat and the risk the risk of pregnancy. So men had to know what it was that women wanted. We had to have provisioning, protection, and parental investment. And that was the 20th century way, or prior to the sexual revolution, that was the 20th century way of having a good, successful marriage, or at least that was the ideal anyways. I'm not saying it was always perfect. Again, I'm trying to cast this in terms of like what was ideal and what wasn't. Okay. Like in an ideal world, women are still hypergamous, but men have at least a say in the sexual marketplace exchange, right? So women are still looking for, even like prior to the sexual revolution in the 30s, in any era prior to 1965, they were still looking for the guy who was hot and fun to fuck. They were still looking for a good-looking guy who was tall. They were still looking for all of the things that make a big banana. They were still looking for guys, high-value men, encompassed a lot of things, right? He had to have a job. He had to come from a good family. He had to be well-heeled. He had all this, had to be funny, had to like dogs, had to want kids in the future, has to, love his mother, go to church on Sundays. All of those things developed into sort of like the qualities that would make a guy attractive, right? But once you have a deregulated sexual marketplace and women can provide for themselves all of the things that men used to provide, when it comes to provisioning, protection, and parental investment, by the way, too, because now the state takes care of that for women, at least in the United States it does. And even then, sympathies still cover for a lot of that too, or the collective or the sisterhood will as well. So you take that in a post-sexual revolution era society, and you see how women are, they don't need a man, or they think they don't need a man, but they want a man. And the guy that they want is the guy on the sexual freedom side of hypergamy there. Hypergamy hasn't changed. It has never changed throughout human history. It is a feature and not a bug of human, well, female and male to the extent of nature. Okay. Are men hypergamous? No, they're not. Men's mating strategy is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality until you regulate it. And then the regulated side, it's 5s with 5, 6 with 6, 7 with 7. The regulated side is what the assortative mating dudes of today would love you to believe is the naturalistic side of everything. Naturally, a high value, high earning man would want, irrespective of whether she's fat, irrespective of whether she's ugly, irrespective of whether she's a feminist, she's a harridan, a shrew, whatever. She's the girl. She's one of the girls that, like, when they see their husband, he turned into a sourpuss right afterwards, or that guy who's like he's trying to love and be kind and kiss on his wife and do all those fucking things that every guru says you should do for your wife, and do it every day and tell her you love her and hang on her and everything. He does that, and she's like, "No, get off of me." And what does he do? He sulks like a little fucking kid. Is that guy high value? Because according to Scott Galloway, he should be. He's kind. He's married. He's with that chick. He lives in the same house as that chick. Now, is it a setup? Yes, of course it is. But the narrative, the reason why that hits on Twitter is because guys go, "Fuck, I feel this guy. Fuck, that was me." Hell, I had guys, and when I reposted that on Twitter, I had this used to be me before the rational male. Or that guy who was the pastor. Let me see if I can find that. I'll just replay those again. It was too good. I'm gonna kill that out of there, and then let's go. Oops, wait a minute. Video file and nonchalant 2. There it is. This one right here.
Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Why am I singing a Christmas song for Thanksgiving? Because I'm already decorated for Christmas.
Look at her high value husband. I wonder how many degrees he has.
But we just wanted to come and
I think he's just trying to be kind.
Say, have an amazing Thanksgiving with your friends, with your family. Even if you're by yourself, there's always something to be thankful for.
You didn't let me talk.
I'm asking you now, but
let me talk.
Get over here.
What? Happy Thanksgiving.
Defeat. Absolute, utter fucking defeat. But does he have an advanced degree? Does she have an advanced degree? Are they equally yoked? I know that has to do with religion. It doesn't have to do necessarily with socioeconomic status. Although I'm sure in today's feminized church now it does. But when you see shit like that, I think one of the reasons that rubs guys the wrong way is because they're like, oh, why? Maybe he was drunk. I don't know. It almost seems like the dude was drunk and he just kind of got caught with his hands in the cookie jar, right? Yeah, does he have a banana size? What's his banana size? Yeah, well, I mean, clearly that has something to do with it, right? That has to have something to do with the high value side of things. So my jump off point here is what makes for a guy to be high value? And so I used, as I said before, I used Jason Momoa here as war chief of war, right? Especially during the time that he was, well, the character anyways that he portrayed, and I can't remember the name of the character just off the top of my head, but anyways, like he was a savage, right? I mean, you go and you look at like Native Americans, American Indians, feather Indians, right? Not the red dot. Native Americans, right? We still look at tribal chieftains as some kind of a noble character, right? We still somehow fundamentally see the guy who has, like, the guy you nod to him and he nods. He knows. You could be from a completely different world, completely different society. There was I know what it was. I was watching Vikings, the series Vikings, and I think it was like the last season where they finally discovered the United States, like at least the mainland North America, right? And the Vikings come across a tribe of Native Indians, of Native Americans, right? And there's just this one moment in that scene, and I don't know if they did this on purpose or not. Again, I know it's a series, I know it's fictional, I got it. But there's this passing notion between the Indian chief and the guy who's the leader of the Vikings, and there's just this, like, they're men, like they knew. They couldn't speak the same language. They didn't know where the fuck this person came from. But the guy sees another guy. He says, "This is my tribe. This is my," and this is my tribe. And there was this understanding of, right, like two high value guys. One, well, both really kind of savages when you think about it, but like one a little bit more technologically advanced than the other one, right? Reasonably so. But there's still that understanding of what's high value. What that guy is, that guy high value? Is he the kind of guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck? Well, probably within his own context and in his own culture and in his own, his own world, right? Yeah. That's why I put Jason Momoa on there, or the character he portrays, because at the time, and I want to say it was in the 1600s when the Cook Island, well, they call it Cook Islands, and it's Hawaiian Islands, but Captain Cook discovers Hawaii and some other places in Polynesia. But there's this understanding, this sort of innate understanding that this guy is this is the chief of the fucking tribe, right? This guy has territory, he's got resources, and he's got bitches, right? So when I look at that, and then I look at these guys trying to narrowly define what a high value guy is, and only according to going to college and getting an advanced degree and making, well, what do we say, $450,000? Is that a high value guy? Your top 1%? Or is it the tribal chieftain in Hawaii in 1609 or whenever it was, right? Is he high value? He doesn't have an advanced degree. He doesn't have a Lamborghini. He's not the top. He's the top G. He's the top G of Maui. The tribal chieftain of Hawaii, whatever, is the top G in Maui. But is he the top G if you take him and you put him in put him in Boston during the same time? Is he the top G if they bring him back to England or France? Is he still the top G, or is he just like this uneducated savage? And the answer is both. You're just taking this guy out of his aquarium and putting him into your aquarium. I have aquarium, sorry. But so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is utter bullshit is what it is. Let me see, share the screen again. This is bullshit. Because there are a lot of different things. We just saw this a minute ago. I mean, I just produced I just put out 10 videos. I just put out 10 videos that pretty much reconfirm the fact that it's not just high income men that contributes to a guy being high value. If a woman is making more money than the guy with you could be highly educated and your degree might be in fucking basket weaving or, philosophy, some esoteric philosophy that you're never going to make any money off of. Thank you, Aaron Clary, for writing useless degrees. You can still spend a lot of money and be highly educated and get a doctorate in philosophy. And the only thing you're going to be able to do with that is teach more philosophy at the next year. Hopefully somebody dies and you can get a full tenure track at a university somewhere. You're not going to be making $450,000. I'm sorry. I would like to see the philosophy, even a doctorate in philosophy. I'm fairly certain they don't make that kind of cash. I do, however, know what Jack Doherty makes at least that. I know Fresh Prince CEO from Barbados. I'm pretty sure he's well beyond the $450,000 mark. No education whatsoever. Is he high value? Is Fresh going to say, are you going to, Fresh, hopefully Fresh is watching. Fresh, are you going to say, well, now that I've got Fresh and Fit podcast and I'm making all this fucking money, I really need to go back to college because I want to get with a chick who's college educated and has all this, free time to hang out, who's going to put all that aside and be like feminine and supportive of me and be nurturing and being a good companion for the rest of my life. I think I need to go back and get an advanced degree so that I can find someone like that so that I can marry them. Really? Who the fuck are we? Like, cut the shit, man. Who are we bullshitting here? And that's the thing that gets these guys is like that. So this is the basis, that my premise, I should say, for why assortative mating is kind of bullshit. Okay. What will happen is you'll see, well, we always see different species getting with, the same species, and they're like usually the same physical level and And if you're fat, you're going to get with a fat person. If you're in shape, you're going to get with a shape person. Yeah, of course, no fucking shit. If I am in if I'm in the peak physical conditions that I could possibly be in, I don't want a fat chick. Guys who get with fat chicks because at somewhere along the line, they were like, fat chicks are easier. It's easier to fuck a fat girl. That's really how it goes. And fat women will back that up too. Like, I'm not saying that like fat women don't get with in shape guys. They do occasionally if the guy's slump busting. And I've seen it happen, but I would say there's probably more. Maybe I'm wrong about this. You guys can put a 1 or a 2 in the chat. 1 if you agree, 2 if you don't agree. I think that guys, there are more guys that are in shape than there are that women in shape. I think for women, women at like modern contemporary women today don't have the same level of dedication that men do when it comes to physique and comes to the gym. And I'm going to tell you why. Because women don't have to, or at least they think that they don't have to, because they don't really necessarily have to do all that much. For guys, you think about what it takes to get to 10% body fat and to put on another like 10 or 12 pounds of muscle. You got to be on TRT. You got to be on gear. You got to be on cutting agents. To maintain that, I've seen videos where guys are like, I've been in the gym for 14 years and this is my body, my physique. They look good, but they're probably around 15% body fat, maybe 13 if you're like they're really struggling or they're younger, right? But they're not competition. They're not at male model 10%, 12% body fat. And the muscularity is there, but it's not as much as it could be if it was them plus 1. And I'm just going to leave it at that, them plus 1. For women, don't eat like a pig. Get in shape. Do cardio. Still, there's a minimum threshold of effort I think that women do need to make, right? But it ain't nowhere near what guys have to do to stay to maintain a physique at a certain level. Men have to put out more effort to maintain that than women do when it comes to them staying in shape and looking good. And I can say that with a fair degree of confidence because I see the girls that are on my show, and there've been gym rats on there. Like what's her name? What the fuck is her name? It's on the tip of my tongue right now. I wish she was on the tip of my tongue. Not Coral, not the Coral. It's funny. Coral Osborne, she's a spinner. I love you, Coral. But yeah, smoking body. And I mean that in the literal sense, like smoker's body. That's how she doesn't go work out. This is her workout. But I think of the girls that we have on our show, maybe a quarter of them I would say are gym rats. But for the vast majority of them, they're not. They're too busy going out and clubbing. They're too busy with OnlyFans. They're too busy with other things. That's not to say that they don't, but they do. Even the girls who do work out just kind of casually, they don't work out to the same degree as guys who want to be in peak physical condition. Women don't have to worry about that, at least not to the same degree. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying they don't have to do it to the same degree as guys do. And the reason why is because of exactly this right here, because of the deregulated sexual freedom side of the equation here. When the reason why the regulated sexuality side doesn't exist anymore and why assortative mating is bullshit is because it depends on a society where that regulated sexuality can exist in the first place. And it also depends on where that person is meeting whoever. We no longer live in we live in an era where, men and women, young men and women still go to college, right? Okay, who's going to college the most? Women. There's going to be a higher pool, a deeper pool of women going to college than there are going to be guys. Great. You would think that guys would want to set themselves up for that. Awesome. That's enrollment. Even less men actually graduate from college than women do too. Okay. So, but there's still few. There's still guys that actually are. And then of those guys who are graduates, how many are coming out with an advanced degree, are getting a master's, are going to set themselves up so they can be in that top 1%, which is exactly what they're saying in this fucking thing right here. We're talking about the 1% of guys, the top earners, 1% men. Even the 75th percentile is still pretty up there. And then we're looking at percentage of men with a graduate degree holding wife. They're not saying how much she makes. They're not saying how hot she is. They're basing their criteria of value. And in this case, they're basing the criteria of value for the women. What's a high value woman? A high value woman, she's got to be highly educated, right? She's got to be this bitch right here. She's got to have a graduate degree to be a high value woman. That's what the entire tweet is based on. It's based on an estimate of value where the guy is anywhere from the 75th percentile to the 1 percentile. That's a long fucking way. And then on top of that, what establishes high value for women? It's not who the high value guy is in that situation. It's who the high value woman is. High value woman, someone with a postgraduate degree. Is it a graduate or postgraduate? I forget what it was. Let me see. Graduate degree holding wife. Okay, graduate degree. Does that mean, yeah, okay, so she's got to have at least a 4-year degree. Okay, so that's what the designers of that graph, or those who are taking those studies, those surveys, whatever the fuck it is, right? Taking those surveys and going, well, like that's the benchmark. That's the metric by which guys are deciding whether or not they want to get with a woman or not, right? So high value men are getting with high value women. What makes a high value guy? It's anywhere from the 75th to the 25th, I should say, to the 1 percentile of earners, not college educated guys, earners. So, as I said before, fresh off the boat from Barbados is easily making in the top 1% of earners in the United States. Is he going to look for a woman with a graduate degree? Probably not. I met the girls he's been with. I'm fairly sure they don't have graduate degrees. And if they are, they're not with him because he has a graduate degree. They're with him because he is a top earner. Which should also point out the tragic, mathematics here, that it's not, well, at least according to them. I'm much more forgiving than this, but according to the status people who want to convince us all that it's about assortative mating, they want you to think, anyways, that if you're a man and you don't have a degree, and if you don't have a degree, then you won't make $450,000 a year, and therefore you won't be able to bang or get with or marry and live happily ever after, let's say, with a woman who also has a advanced degree, has a degree, a postgrad degree. The postgrad or graduate degree, has a graduate's degree. Doesn't say how much she's earning. Doesn't say how hot she is. Doesn't say how overweight she is. Doesn't say anything. It doesn't have, just because you have a degree, there's a lot of women with a communications degree. There's a lot of women with psychology degrees. There's a lot of women with, and you think about what are the top degrees. We should look that up. What are the perplexity? Come back to me again. What are the most common degrees held? I guess it would be graduate degrees. Common graduate degrees held by women in 2025. Perplexity, what do you have to say about that? The most common graduate degrees held by women in 2025 are in education, health professions, no surprise there, especially nursing and allied health. Seems like a hospital would probably be a good place for women to meet other guys who have better educations than they do. Public administration, HR, and social services and business with psychology also heavily represented at the graduate level. Women earn a clear majority of master's degree overall and dominate in these people-focused, service-oriented fields. Got it? Women receive roughly 60% of the graduate degrees, master's, doctoral, and professional in the United States by 2025, outnumbering men at all levels beyond the bachelor's degree. This continues a long-term trend where women are more likely than men to complete college and go on to graduate study. Okay, so thank you for that, Perplexity. Now, with that in mind, and we look at how this stat was jiggered here. Okay, notice the high income men overwhelmingly married to highly educated women. Well, considering that 40% of guys get degrees and 60% of women get degrees, you're looking at a good 20% of women extra. So now, just by law of averages, even if this were true, still, even by law of averages, there's going to be more women with degrees than there are with men. So it stands to reason that that's probably going to be right there. What do they get degrees in? God, I wish I had Aaron Clary for this show. I'm going to bring this up next time. I'm going to see if I can get Aaron for a Wednesday midweek. But this is what I need. This is the kind of stuff that I like we can both, chew on for a little while. But why is it that way? See, what happens is this, and let me put this back in here again because I want to make sure that I'm putting this out. So if we look at this stuff, and it's like, if you look at the comments here, okay, hypergamy is real, and men typically care less about women's financial success than vice versa. But that's no reason to tell women to stay under their father's roof and focus on attracting high value men. That's clown thinking, okay? And yeah, it is. I would agree to a lesser degree. I would definitely say that, because most guys want to say like, well, you just stay in your mom's basement. You just wait in your dad's hovel and wait to be traded for 4 goats and 1 pig. It's like, okay, don't be stupid. But where's the rest of this? But see, that's the thing. That's the thing here is like, you got Dr. Deborah So, who I want to say, look this up for me, Sammy. Dr. Deborah So, S-A-S-O-H, D-E-B-R-A-S-O-H. I think she's the sexologist that is on CNN quite a bit. I'm fairly certain. But that's the problem. The problem is this binary, stupid, ideological narrative rather than, and it took me half an hour, 30 minutes to build out a case as to why assortative mating is bullshit. At least not in the way that they think it is. Assortative mating is very specific. And as I said before, assortative mating, when we look at regulated sexuality right there, it makes sense when the sexual marketplace is regulated. When you deregulate it, you get sexual freedom side, which is hypergamy, which has always existed. And it's what we revert to when you have a deregulated sexual market. So when we don't have those institutions, those stigmas, those controls, those limitations, that social, buffer to buffer the sexual freedom side of things, then yeah, you might have a case for assortative mating. But assortative mating is not based on natural human mating strategies. It was an outcome of a social conditions that puts men and women into certain situations, right? Puts them into certain areas. So when you have men and women who are at college, they're going to interact with other people who are going to hopefully going to get degrees at some point. It also goes back to like when we lived in hunter-gatherer societies. You might have a tribe of 100 to 150 people in that tribe. Of those people, how many are female? let's say half. Okay, of the half, how many are unmarried or not taken? Okay, that drops that a little bit more. Of those, how many are virgins? How many are fertile? How many are good looking? You narrow that down from what 100 and 50, 75 to 50 down to probably around 25, if that. And then how many of those girls are into you as a young tribe member, a young Indian brave, right? Then you're narrowing your options all the way down. So but you still are living in a tribal society. So, and it's not because you're looking for the chick that's going to be the best fit for you, or you've made some sort of vet. Like what gets me about this whole thing with evolutionary psychologists who should fucking know better already. They should know this shit already, but they get too wrapped up in social media influencing and not wanting to fucking, step on the delicate sensibilities of their female fucking followers. That's why all this exists. That's why, this seems like a lie. No, it's not a fucking lie. It's just that you want it to be a certain way and you haven't thought it through. I come in, deconstruct it, and disembowel your fucking arguments, and you don't know what to fucking say. Oh, I don't want to have that guy on my show anymore. I would never have Rolo on. Why? Because I'd come in and ruin your fucking narrative. That's why. This is me ruining your fucking narrative. So yes, in a regulated sexual marketplace, assortative mating might work, but that's in no way what guys are thinking of when they're thinking, like when I met Mrs. Tomasi, I met her at a club. I just played a gig, right? I met her at a club. She was on a girls' night out. In fact, the girl that introduced me to my wife, she wanted to introduce me to this other fat chick. And I'm like, nah. I said, I like that one over there. And I was pointing to my wife. She had long, beautiful blonde hair. And I was like, I would like to meet her. And so then I met her, and then she left the club, and I followed along with the club, and I got her number, and the rest is history, right? But I didn't see her at the club and go, I wonder if she'd be a good mother to my children. I wonder if she has an advanced degree. That never even didn't even come into my thought process. You know what my thought process was? That chick is fine. I want to tap that ass. That was my thinking at that time. Okay. I wasn't going, And you know what? That's the thinking of guys I know who are 18 and guys who are 80 in my reignite group. Well, I have the oldest guy is 65. Like those guys, the thinking is still the same. Why is it that, I think these are the OkCupid stats, why is it that girls between the ages of 22 and 24, 23 being the average, right? Why do they always look the best at any age, depending on whether you're 15 or you're like 115 for men? Why? Why do you suppose that is? Because that's the age that women would most likely have they'd be going to get their bachelor's degree. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's fucking cope. Stop this fucking cope. Fucking sick of it. Like, come up with some new material for Christ's sake, right? But then we got to entertain these guys, right? Well, stand on your father's. See, the thing is like women don't want to. We don't want to be limited by you. Well, guess what? You know what happened? If you're going to, here's the thing that gets me. If you're going to advocate, like if you're Dr. Deborah Sue, if you're Dr. Will Costello, if you're Dr. Evil, if you're Dr. David Buss, if you're Dr. Rob Henderson, if you're Dr. Steve Stewart Williams, like I would presume that you guys would already know this shit. That's what disappoints. Son, I am disappointed. I am disappointed in this shit because I know you know better. And you know that I know you know better. Why are you perpetuating this horseshit lie? So when you look at like Dr. Deborah Singh talking about, well, we don't want to be limited and be put into, like we should, that's clown thinking, to tell women that they should stay with their fathers until they're ready to marry. Right? And she's not wrong in that sense because it's bonehead. I want a virgin bride kind of, mentality. But that is in no way the red pill. That is in no way accepting like the reality of the world the way that really is. That isn't. You're just taking a different form of the blue pill. But the thing is they think it's red pill, so therefore I got to fucking clean up their mess. But the problem is that, and here's the kicker, is if women don't want to, like Deborah's saying, so she doesn't want to be limited. She doesn't think women should be limited in the decisions and the things that they can do and blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't necessarily agree. But when you say that, you're just basically you're just recognizing the fact that a regulated sexual marketplace is inferior to sexual freedom marketplace. Because if you're limited, that's what puts you into the assortative mating slot on the right side there. So don't tell me it's about assortative mating and then say we shouldn't be limited by the assortative mating. Get the fuck out of here. What? Like you basically contradict your own argument. Because if you're going to tell me that it's, or at least, infer anyways, that women shouldn't be told to stay at home and, be ready to be traded for, a pig and a goat or some shit like that, right? That's because that would be regulated. That would be regulated sexual marketability. Okay. That's what assortative mating is based on. So if you're telling me that that's the way it shouldn't be, then you're saying that the preferable way is sexual freedom, is hypergamy. She even says that. She even mentions that by fucking name in this tweet. Hypergamy is real, and men typically care less about women's financial successes, vice versa. Well, thank you for fucking following up with that. Like the most ambitious and successful woman, the less likely for a long-term partnership and child rearing. Extrapolate this dynamic on the societal level, and what happens next? His tone is crass, but the underlying concern is valid. Sextinction, of course, she's trying to sell her book called Sextinction, which you can see right here. I'll give her a plug. There you go. I have no idea what it is. Maybe I should read it. Discusses data showing that marriages with women as the primary breadwinner are more likely to fail. Then why the fuck are you arguing against this? Why are you fucking arguing? It's like, so again, maybe this is just a bait to get you to buy her book or whatever. Probably is. What do we got? Oh, sorry. Thank you. Siege. Hello, Siege. Rolo, got anything planned with that Arthur Kwon Lee character yet? No, I don't, and I don't think I probably will. What do you think of all the people replying and defending you when Kwon Lee? It sounds like a fucking villain from Mortal Kombat. Kwon Lee, fight! Rolo Tomasi. Kwon Lee, fight! Wait a minute there. Fight! Defending you when Kwon Lee started talking shit on X. You still have friends. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I did see that. I did notice that. Thank you. It's nice to be loved. But it's easy to tear the guy apart because he's clearly an idiot. Somebody sent me where was that? Somebody sent me he just recently popped off about something. I can't remember what. It's out of my Twitter feed. Kwon Lee was talking shit lately about something else, and I can't remember what it was. I didn't bookmark it either. This is going to be fun. Today's going to be a fun day for y'all. The beige lingerie test. I should do that. No. So, anyways, the point I'm making anyway. Yeah, I mean. Kwon Lee, from what I've heard people tell me, I don't care who the fuck is this guy. It's just another guy throwing rocks at me. And that's what people do. When people want to make a name for themselves, they go like, what are you supposed to do? Like the first day you arrive in the prison yard and you're a new prisoner. You go throw punches at the biggest motherfucker on the prison yard. You might get your ass handed to you. You probably die, but at least if you don't die, then somebody's going to think that you're a badass because you just picked a fight with the biggest dude on the fucking block, right? Okay, I guess I'm the biggest thug in the yard because that's what everybody does. That's where you start. You want to build a brand. Like Ryan and I did a full show on this at one point. You want to start a brand? You want to start a red pill brand? Start throwing rocks at Rolo Tomasi. You can't go wrong because he'll respond, and they're right. Yeah. No, from what I hear, he's a holdover from Anthony Johnson, which of course is why he just regurgitates old lies from 2019. That's how I know, by the way. I can tell that you are like an ancient, hater if you're still popping off like old bad information hate from Anthony Johnson. Trust me. Well, let me clarify for you right now. I'm still married. I've been married for 29 years, almost. I'll be 30 next year. I still fuck my wife. Had a great sex right before I came out here to San Diego, and I can't wait to get back. God, should I tell you a story? I'll tell you a story in a minute. I'm still married. I don't have an estranged relationship with my daughter. My daughter loves me. We're just at Thanksgiving. By the way, if we did, I wouldn't be paying for so much shit for my daughter still. No, I have a great relationship with my daughter. My son-in-law was and still is the singer in my band. What else would you like to know? Would you like to know personally? You know what? What time is it? For the next 20 minutes, if you want to ask me any personal question about my life, about my family, about my dogs, I don't care. Throw it in there. You can make it a super chat, but just make it like a minute. You don't have to make like more than $2, or I'll answer it. Okay. Make it 100 if you want, but I will clarify many errors in people's assumptions of me. Right. That's why your wife left you. No, she didn't. She's right behind me. She's right in the next room. She didn't leave me. Still waiting for that to happen. Your dog hates you. How dare you? What is it? Oh, did I have that still? I don't think I still have that. There you go. Oh, what's this one? Let's go back in time for when Rollo met his wife. I finally got that one. Oh, wait. Man, I have the good sound drops on the laptop. I really should use these more. Yeah, so I don't know, Kwon Lee. I don't even know who the fuck this guy was. But somebody told me he was like part of the 21 convention speakers or some shit like that. The evolutionary psychologists that make it past the gate do what they call land acknowledgement, saying women still need our provisioning, but they don't. Yeah. Well, I brought this up a million times. I'm sure Scott Galloway or probably Orion Taraban will. Here, I'm going to give you some free material. Here it is. I've said this before, is that we're at a stage right now in humanity, in the dating scene and the sexual marketplace, where men are superfluous. I've been saying this since the Dr. Phil show. At least men aren't actually superfluous. I'm not saying that. By the concept, the idea that men are superfluous is what we perpetuate, not only from feminists, not only from OnlyFans girls on whatever podcasts, or my podcast, or Fresh and Fit, not only on those, where you might be prone to experience or hear them say something like that. Or no, what is it? It's complicated. The guy, John on the street, doing it. Do we need men? No, we don't need men. Fuck men. Not only there are men superfluous, but they're also superfluous in the new pop evolutionary psychology set right now. That's how you get that, which is, men say, women say this, but we really actually need men, but what? But they're superfluous. Okay, let's start from there and let's have the conversation after that. No, we can't. Why? Because you're Rollo Tomasi and you're a misogynist. Fuck off. Right? That's why. Men are necessary. The welfare state or something. Well, it's funny you should say that, because if you have not purchased this book yet, why haven't you? Please, The Rational Male Reignite is available. It is on Amazon. It did hit one. I got it for 2 days as a #1 bestseller. Thank you very much. That's all it took. But there you go. In that book, I mentioned this. I break down sociosexual hierarchies in there, which, credit where it's due, I am not a plagiarist. I am not lifting his material. I am only standing on the shoulders of a fellow giant, Vox Day, who came up with sociosexual hierarchies. No, you didn't hear that from Homath. You didn't get that from Orion Taraban. You didn't get that from Chris Williamson. You didn't get that from whoever. That is Vox Day, who's been a good friend of mine for quite some time. He kind of went really super moralistic Christian in recent days, but back when he was writing about game and he was writing about intersexual dynamics, he came up with what was called sociosexual hierarchies. That's how you get alpha, beta, delta, gamma, omega, and sigma. That doesn't exist. Okay. Ask me the question. Give me the super chat if you want to know why I would say that sigma doesn't exist. But the thing is those are sociosexual hierarchies. I define those in great detail in this book, which is available now on Amazon. Reignite, go get it today. Okay, so there's a whole section that's dedicated to sociosexual hierarchies because it's one of the topics I get asked about the most, because especially when we're talking about high value man, right? What's an alpha, Rolo? Well, a lot of people want to tell me that alpha is like, I was going to mention this in the high value man part of things, but people want to say, well, an alpha is necessarily a high value man. Well, that depends on what you are defining as high value. People don't want to use, it was Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels was the one who came up with the term high value man. Okay. And so that sounded better. That rolled off the tongue better. It tasted better than saying a guy was an alpha. Well, alpha is cringe. Beta is cringe. If you use those terms, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. High value man. Yeah, yay. It's the same fucking thing. It's just a different different language, different vernacular. So that's why I was like, well, what's an alpha? And is there a difference between a high value man and an alpha? And I would say there probably is, because alpha is a mindset. It's not a demographic. High value man, definitely a demographic. Okay? So as I was saying before, when it comes to sociosexual hierarchies, Vox Day is very clear about what his definition of what an alpha is, what a beta is, and what a delta is. And of all of the 5 sociosexual hierarchies, the delta is the one you need to pay attention to the most, because that is what's going to make Western civilization crumble. It's not alphas. It's not betas. They're sidekick betas anyway. It's not gamma males. It's not omega males. They're just the dregs of society, right? Gamma males are like the sexless guys who don't fuck and make lists as to why they don't fuck, right? They're always inside their head. They're always trying to work out like what the mathematics are. And why. Well, if the world were fair, women would want to fuck me because I'm the perfect boyfriend. I've catered my life. That's a gamma male. Right? Gamma males are also called secret kings because they're the ones that actually go after. They hate and despise and resent the alpha male. But the one who's in the middle, not the sigma. By the way, a sigma is just an antisocial alpha. But the deltas are what you need to watch out for. Now, why do I say that? Well, the delta males are the guys who keep the lights on. They put in an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, right? They're the guys. They're the 40-hour-a-week guys. They do exactly what they need to do. And there, for a while, prior to the sexual revolution, maybe a little bit after it, delta males, to be a delta was a pretty safe bet, right? You might not be getting pussy like alpha males were. You weren't a player, but you go to church on Sunday. You pretty much could get a good wife and have kids, and you had a job at a steel factory. You had a job as an electrician, a construction guy. You maybe you were a carpenter. Maybe you were an architect, right? I would say that's a little more advanced than a delta. You still be a delta and be an architect. These are the guys that keep the lights on. They work in raw sewage. They keep the internet running. They code. They make wonderful programs like the one I'm using here so I can talk shit about everybody. Like the guys who keep the lights on. The men, like when Brian from whatever podcast says, look around this room. Everything here was built by a man. No, Brian, they were built by delta males. Built by guys who went in, did the job, left home, punched in, punched out. Those guys are the guys, you can call them blue collar. They're not all blue collar, but like they're the guys who punch in and punch out at the end of the day. Those are the guys who take a shower at the end of the day instead of the beginning of the day, right? Those are the dudes that keep America together. Baling wire and duct tape. That's the delta male, okay? The guys who keep the lights on. The guys who keep the roads, fill the potholes. The guys who design the roads and the first civil engineers, delta male. Yeah. But those are the guys who are average. They're average men. Alphas and betas, according to sociosexual hierarchies, are exceptional. They're exceptional guys. Delta males are the average proles. They're the plebes. They're the guys who, when I go through the airport, you're going to see nothing but delta males. They're the guys they're average. The problem we have today with delta males is that average women don't want to get with average guys. A delta male is not enough. A delta male, a guy who actually he's got a job. He's got a job. He does it. He shows up, dependable, works hard, goes to church on Sundays, loves his kids, loves his family, loves his dog, loves his 2 cars, loves his Jeep and his GMC, Tahoe, whatever, right? and will probably never make an impact in society, but God bless the guy because he does what he says and he says what he does. Women want nothing to do with that guy. He's not high value enough for them. Average women don't want to get with average men. And guess what delta men are? They are average. And when you lose the deltas, you lose fucking society. When guys go, I can't make again, this is another conversation I need to have with Aaron Clary. When you got a delta male who cannot be assured of getting it doesn't even have to be a hot girl. It could just be a mid. You could just have like a 6. They'd be happy with the 6. They'd be happy with that. They'll have babies with you, live on a ranch or whatever the fuck it is. Like they are the heartbeat of America, right? Chevy. They're Chevy men. And I don't mean Camaros. I mean like freaking trucks, right? These are the guys I said keep the light on, but they're average. And average women, not only that, average women feel that they are entitled to above average men. And it used to be prior to the sexual revolution and prior to the regulated sexuality, that's where delta males thrive, man. If you're a 5 or a 6, you could be assured that you're going to get a 5 or a 6 chick and you're going to have babies and you're going to, have money for Christmas presents and all that other shit and all that great shit that happened like in the, post-World War II, right up until the sexual revolution and right up until about 1971. When everything went to hell and nobody wanted, that was the beginning of the end. That's because women lost respect for delta males. That's why when I'm looking at what Tucker Carlson talking shit about, women need a man. The bedrock of the good marriage is respect. Get the fuck out of here. The bedrock of a good marriage is respect. Women don't respect men. Are you kidding? Because women's understanding of respect is not the same definition as men's definition of respect. Respect amongst men is merited. What makes you respectable? For women, it's not what makes you respectable. It's everybody deserves respect. Here's some respect for you and you and you and you. It's the participation trophy generation. That's what respect is for women. It's common. It's communal. It's communitarian. It's socialist. Everybody gets a little bit of respect. What did I do? Nothing. You just get it. No, fuck that. For men, respect is hierarchical. For women, it's in the round once again, right? So all this, but see, the problem is it didn't used to be that way. Prior to the sexual revolution, it was, that's why when you took the risk of getting pregnant by having sex with a guy, you wanted to make sure that guy was a safe bet. I'm not saying that there weren't sluts back in the 30s or something, roaring 20s. I'm sure there was plenty of sluts, right? But they did it in spite of the fact that they didn't have hormonal birth control back then. And then we come up with latex condoms, in the 40s or 50s, something like that. I wonder when condoms, I should ask Perplexity, when were condoms invented? God, that's a good one. Let me ask that. Today is the Perplexity show. When were latex condoms invented? God, I love Perplexity. Latex condoms were first developed and manufactured, in the early 1920s, with 1920 commonly cited as the key invention period. Early latex condoms development. Latex as a water-based rubber suspension suitable for condom production emerged around 1920, right around the time that we ratified the 19th Amendment. Imagine that. Allowing much thinner, stronger, and longer-lasting sheets than earlier solid rubber versions from the 1850s. Fucking A. You had to wear a real. That's why they call them rubbers back then, right? Young's Rubber Company in the United States, maker of the Trojan brand, is often credited, as the first manufacturer to produce commercial latex condoms using this new process about 1920. There you go. You heard it here first. Watch. Tomorrow, Taraban's going to go, did you know when condoms were? There's a freebie for you, Orion. You can have that one. I do. It's time we talked about latex condoms. Siege says, I don't need to know about your personal family life, Rilla. Good. If you don't mind asking me, did Did ever sing Melissa by either of the Allman Brothers? No, I never did. Or by Merciful Fate. You're right. Allman Brothers, no, not so much. And by the way, it's called Sweet Melissa, not Melissa. And yes, my wife's name is Missy. Do females dictate who the alpha will be? What if there are multiple alphas? There are multiple alphas. Let's say the corporate office, Elon is the CEO, but the attractive guy who women want is also there, which is the alpha. Very good. So I have on several occasions said that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and, well, certainly people will agree with me on this one, and Bill Gates are not alpha males. And the reason why, I can also tell you this, Terry Crews, black guy, I think he's a former football player, not an alpha male. Definitely a blue pill alpha, but not an alpha male. And people will go, how dare you say that, Rollo? I can't believe you would say something like that. Thank you, Tiffany. No, the reason why I say that is not because alpha is a frame of mind. It is not a demographic. But Elon's the richest guy in the world. That's because you're only using income as a criteria for what is alpha and what is not. Okay. The guy has a track record. Like, would you say, let's see. Oh, I got another one. Here's a better one for you. Okay. Well, you say, well, Elon Musk, though. Elon Musk has 14 children by eight women. Isn't he an alpha? He's reproduced 1 million times. Yeah. But what were the circumstances that led him to, he has a track record. Oh, I mean, he fucked Amber Heard, for Christ's sake. But he has a track record of getting with a woman, Ashley St. Clair, getting with a woman, knocking her up, and then just throwing money at, like, he's got this harem of ex-wives. Why not, like, why would a guy, let me ask you this, why would a guy like Jeff Bezos, one of the richest guys in the world, I think Elon's got more money than him, but second richest guy in the world, okay? Why would Jeff Bezos stay married to Mackenzie Bezos for as long as he did? That's number one. And then second of all, once he divorced Mackenzie Bezos, why on fucking earth did he get with Lauren Dirty Sanchez? Because he's not beta male when it comes to women. He's this guy. He's this dude. Where'd it go? Hold on. He's this guy right here.
Stop, honey, you're being annoying. Stop, you're being annoying.
That's Jeff Bezos in his personal life. In his...
See how fast guys become nonchalant in relationship? Watch until the end.
Okay. We already know this is bullshit, but let's put me back. If you, like, Jeff Bezos could be fucking a new chick every Friday night if he wanted to. If it was just about money, right? He could pay for move to Vegas. You could be paying for another chick. You don't have to move to Vegas, fly him in. He could be fucking a new chick every fucking night. Why not? People say, well, that doesn't mean he's alpha. Alpha is this, alpha is that. But you're just basically a lot of guys, when it comes to alpha, and they're starting to talk about alpha, what makes a high value man, they're almost always using themselves as a benchmark for that definition. Okay. So do females dictate who the alpha will be? It's by yes and no. It's the man who lives up to whatever character, whatever expectation that woman has. Again, pre-selection makes a lot of difference. Social proof makes a lot of difference. Finances absolutely make a difference. Looks make a difference. Now, people always say, well, Rollo, you're talking about looks maxing, blah, blah, blah. I'm not of the opinion that it's just about status. And the reason why is I can speak from personal experience that I had no status when I was in my rock star 20s. And I had 2 nickels to rub together. Hell, even when I met my wife, right? But I had no money. And that was the time that I got the most pussy of my life, was when I was a starving musician in the Hollywood metal scene. That's when, and you know, you can hear very similar stuff. Go watch The Dirt, the biography, or the biography of Motley Crue and Vince Neil and those guys. Like, those guys did not have a lot of money, certainly not in the beginning. Remember, Vince Neil's girlfriend was buying him like leather pants and shit like that. And then when they broke up, she took the pants. the guys had no money, but they're getting more tail than it. But were they alpha? Fuck yeah, they were alpha. Were they rich? No, not at all. They got rich later on. It's because you play a character, you play a role that woman wants. Is what's that alpha role? I think it was Adam Carolla who said this: is you need to have a look. And I've been listening to Adam and Dr. Drew for a little bit now. I think Adam Carolla has finally become red pill, but he's just like begrudgingly red. He's like, all right, you guys are lying. You guys are right. I would love Adam Carolla. If you're ever watching the show, like I don't care about Rogan. I don't care about Chris Williamson. I want to go on the Adam Carolla show. That would be worth it. That I would do. But no, it's like he had this one show a while back and he was talking about how a guy needs to have a look. I even wrote a chapter about it in the first book, Have a Look. And he was talking about how guys who don't have a particular persona or they have a character, like he put it this way. He said, women are like casting directors and they're looking for a particular like stereotype. They're looking for a particular type of guy that will fulfill that role. So they need a tough brother from the hood. They need a rock star, you know, they need a guy with tribal tattoos. They might need a CEO of a company. They might want whatever it is. But the guys who get punished are the guys who don't have a look. They're like, he says, they're stylistically rudderless. They're just like, you know, sensible dockers, nice button down shirts, some, you know, sensible, you know, loafers, whatever. They're not, they're as home. This was well before Homath arrived on the scene, but like Adam Carolla said, they're not people. They're not, they're nobodies. They're nothing. Right. So if you don't have a look, you're just, you're punished for that. You're punished for not like no amount of game and no amount of money, no amount of, I'm trying to think of social proof pre-selection. None of that is going to matter if you don't have a certain persona that woman is looking, or you even project that persona. It doesn't even have to really be you, because remember, it's all about perception. As Mike was saying before, status is just perceived. And the reason why guys, you know, why you come off as creepy is because the perceived status that you're projecting with your look, with your image, with the have a look kind of thing is inconsistent. You don't live it, right? It's inconsistent with what that woman's expectations are from the look and from the presence and from the persona that you're projecting to her. So if I come off as this, you know, junior rock star and I'm, you know, I'm looking the way I am, but if I come off very effeminate, or if I come off very like, hi guys, you know, and I'm, you know, built like The Rock or something, that's incongruent with what I'm projecting, what the expectations are. Now I use that as an example. That's by order of degrees. So but here's the thing is, if you project, I'm not a guy, I'm not a person, I'm not I'm not anyone, I'm not playing a character, it's just me, I'm just a bland vanilla version of whatever I am, you're not even going to get your foot in the door. There's not going to be any there's no visual interest, right? So you could be Jeff Bezos, you could be the most interesting motherfucker in the world, but if you don't get the nod, if the eyes don't dilate, if there's no indicator of interest, then you're putting yourself at a real disadvantage in that sense, right? So in that sense, you're in charge of what is alpha and what is not. Women are going to be the ones who are going to judge. That's the kind of guy I need. That's the guy. Oh man, he looks. He's got a V taper. He's got, you know, pecs. He's got serrate. He's got serrats. You know, he's got a 6-pack abs. That's what I'm saying. Is like I think a lot of. I'm not saying this is the only thing, but I think that looks are beginning to be more downplayed than ever before. And we go through cycles of this. I think what you're going to see probably in 2020, I'm making a prediction now. I think in 2026, you're going to see like people like LMS, like something in style. I can't remember that. LMS, face and LMS, right? The looks maxers are going to come back into vogue, I think, in 2026, because right now there's so much, and people say, well, that's black pill dooming. Blah, blah, blah. You don't have to be good looking. Oh, you have to have a baseline you have to at least have a style. You have to have at least projecting a character, you know. Well, I don't want to be, that's jester maxing. Guess what? If you're not going to play the game, someone else will, and they'll play it better than you. Do you want to play or do you not want to play? That's what it's going to boil down to. So there you have it. Yeah, that's also true. Important part of looks is how you feel about yourself. You know, I tell my guys, and by the way, you would know this if you were in my Reignite group. One of the whenever we get to a section in my talks when we talk about looks and style and presenting yourself. You know, it's funny to me, and I hate this shit. I am so fucking sick of this. Is like women will go and guys too, like guys are like allies, male feminists. Well, they're basically male feminists, but like guys who don't even think that they're being male allies, they'll say the same thing. They'll regurgitate, they'll prepare it back, the same thing that women say. Women will say this: just dress nice and cut your hair and like wear deodorant and brush your teeth. That's all you have to do. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with that shit. Okay. Do you need to do that? That's basic shit. Yeah, I understand. Is there that many guys that don't know that? Do you think there's a army of guys out there going, oh, she's right, Jesus Christ, this is what's been holding me back? Get the fuck out of here. Do you think that a guy goes to the gym and he's on gear or whatever, he's looking good, right? He's like, do you think that guy coming out of the gym and that meets a chick on his way out of the gym, right, and talks to her and she's hot for him and he's kind of hot for her, do you think she's going to go, oh, no, sorry. Get out of here. Fuck off with that shit, man. Just brush your teeth. Wear deodorant. Pluck your eyebrows. What? Like how many? Okay, if you don't know already, I'll tell you that wear deodorant. Got it? Good. Awesome. Okay. You didn't need to be told that. No guy needs to be told that. Wear a clean shirt. Put on some new shoes. Get the fuck out of here. Get in the gym, lose body fat, get your body fat percentage down to at least 15%, preferably 13 or 12. If you can't maintain that, try to find some way to do it, because that's what's going to get you in through the door. That's the character she's looking for. There's no version of those characters that are fat. There's no version of those characters. Remember I said casting, or Adam Carolla said those. The casting agents. Women are like casting agents. There's no casting agent that's looking for a fat guy. Like I love it when, like I've said this so many times, women's physical standards do not change. Period. End of fucking story. So when guys like, well, you know, women they're not as visual as men. Get the fuck. They are more visual now. If they weren't in the past, they sure as fuck are now. Because you don't have, like, if guys don't have anything to offer in the provisioning, protection, and parental investments, if you don't have the beta bug side, if you're not making money, you could still get laid. You just got to look good. You still have to look good. And by the way, that's the one thing that I got run up the flagpole for. Because when I made this, where'd it go? When I made this chart, what was the first thing people like screeched about? Like, women are at 23, are at their peak of sexual marketability. Guys right around 36, 37, somewhere in there. Nobody wanted to follow this. They only wanted to think that I was basing this entire estimate here on physicality. They just wanted to say, well, you're an idiot, Rolo, if you think that men who are 37 are better shape and better looking than when they were 25. You're a moron. I would be. If all I had if all I thought was like a binary retard like you guys, if all I ever thought of was things in physical terms, then yeah, but maybe I'm thinking a little bit deeper. Maybe I know that women actually find a multitude of criteria as making a man attractive. And yes, at the top of that list is physique. You're 100% right. But the guys that are hitting their stride, the guys who have more sexual selectivity, the guys with their postgraduate degrees, you know, those guys, the guys who can enjoy sexual selectivity are the guys who are single and they hit 35 or 36 and now they made surgeon like this other guy, or they made partner in the law firm, or maybe they're an entrepreneur and they got their business off the ground. They're working real, maybe they're a podcaster. Now that they're making some money, they've stayed in shape. They're a better judge of character. They know what they want in life. And they've made an effort to get to that. They become higher and higher value men as a result of that. And that is why this exists. Okay. Women, 23. Guess why it's 23? Because the store is called Forever 21, not Forever 41. You look your best and are sexy and have your peak sexual selectivity, ladies, right about 23 years old. And everything declines, for some more gradual than others. Some just fall off a cliff, some ease their way out, but you are on the downside of that slope once you hit 23. And that doesn't mean you're valueless. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. That doesn't mean that you can't stay in shape and still look peppy and sexy and good. There's plenty of 42-year-old, Kindly Myers, 40 years old. Jamie Villamore, 43, 44, 2 kids, still does covers for FHM and Maxim. Still a hot piece of ass, man. It's not about physique. It's about this right here. The wall starts here, ladies. Anytime you read some doomer, despondent, black pill guy on, you see them on Twitter or something like that, understand that that's their stupid, moronic, myopic ideas. They just want to try, they're trying to make you feel bad about things. But the fact of the matter is the wall does exist. It's just not the way that they're defining it. Oh, women start to lose their looks right when they get to be 30. No, not necessarily. Not if they maintain it. Not if they stay on top of it. Very, very few of them do. But the ones that do, those are going to be the ones that everybody points to. Look, she's 40 years old. She still looks fucking great. Yes, but 90% of them look like shit. You know, and it's not even that. It's decisions. It's choices. It's, can I be 43 and compete with my 23-year-old self? And the answer is a resounding no. That's the truth of it. And so when you try to make those cases, when you try to present that in the most measured, most diplomatic, most monotone way, you're a misogynist. Get him out of here. But take all of his good shit before he leaves. What was the name of the book you mentioned last week about men perfecting the appearance of power? That is The Emperor. That was Tanner Guzzi's book. It was The Appearance of Power. That's what it's called. Would you like me to go? Actually, Sam, can you go fetch that link for The Appearance of Power? That's what that is, which is cool. When can we get Kindly Myers on Access Vegas? Kylie will never come on Access. I can confidently tell you guys she will never come on Access Vegas because you animals will ask her all kinds of fucking questions.
Is she married? Does she have kids? She's low value.
I'll tell you what, she'll come on the show when you promise to be nice. Kindly's hot though. Kindly Myers. How do you can't go wrong with a name like Kindly, right? Okay, I have some other things to look at today, but just to kill off this line of thought here really quickly before we move on. When you're looking at assortative mating, understand that the way it's explained on Twitter and the way that it's explained by evolutionary psychologists who should know better, understand when they're talking to you about, oh, this is a lie. These guys, like the thing is that there's this contingency of guys who are supposed to be like the Evo Psych gatekeepers who want to tell you that it's not as bad as it seems. Go out there, smell good, put on deodorant, go out and approach women. And what is, all right, I'll see these ones, like these one tweets where like women will be like, psychologists will be like, what is it about women that scares you from wanting to approach? Scares, fear. The way that the question is phrased is always in the negative. It's always in fear. It's always scared. It's always complaint. A guy, like for instance, everything I've said for the last 2 hours right now will be construed as me complaining. Roland just goes on his show and complains about the state of women. Complain. This is not complaints. You can, like, especially me, like, especially in the red pill, you cannot, well, you can't tell people facts without telling them how to feel about it. But the thing is so how do they feel about it? They think you're complaining. They think you're moaning. Men have it so easy. Why are you complaining? The default is that anytime a guy makes a objective, measured observation about human nature in general, but like female nature, if it is in any way unflattering, even marginally unflattering to the feminine, you're complaining. No, I'm not complaining. I'm telling you why you're fucking wrong. Tell me why you think that I'm wrong. This isn't complaint. This is having a discourse. This is actually what debate is. This is argumentation, right? I present a fact. I present a proposal, a proposition. You come back and say, this proposition is true or is false. Here's some more, like, let's have this back and forth. It's not, you get nowhere when somebody says, you're complaining. Well, with the conversation over. That's when it becomes ideological. That's when it becomes emotional. Because complaint sounds like it's an emotion. I'm complaining about women. Nobody's complaining about shit. We are simply, and that's all this guy was doing, was saying most men would not want to get with an alpha hyena, right? That's what I've called them in the past. You know what kills me, and I've said this before, is that women, well, when I talk about men as being alpha males, right? That's why we needed to use high value man instead of alpha male, because what will happen is some guy will call up that old wolves study or the wolves on the Arctic tundra or something. And that guy, that guy said that there's no such thing as an alpha male and you guys are wrong, because it's like this etymological definition. It's like, I'm not saying that humans are wolves on the Arctic tundra. I'm not saying that men and humans are silverback gorillas in the jungle somewhere. I'm not making that comparison. I'm saying that this is an abstraction. There are higher value guys than there are lower value guys. Can we at least accept that? They still won't accept that. But those same people, when you go, well, she's an alpha male and she's got a postgraduate degree and she's smart and she, men are threatened by her intelligence and her acumen and her business and her style and her savvy and her moxie and all this other stuff. She's an alpha female. No, she's not. But you'll be the first one to say, the same people who will say there's no such thing as an alpha male are the ones who stand up for a standing fucking ovation whenever you say a woman is an alpha female. Why? Because you're on team woman. Because we live in a gynocentric social order. Because there's a phenomenon called the women are wonderful phenomenon, which means that we tend, and I will show you the studies if you like. I have them ready to go. I have them bookmarked on my Twitter. In my Twitter bookmarks, anyways. They say these studies show you guys get to use it. I'm going to use it too, and I actually have the studies to cite. Studies show that we are more trusting of products developed by women. We are more apt to believe in stories that favor women's natural abilities, natural talents, innate abilities. But when we say men have innate abilities, then that's offensive. That's misogynist. It's it's a well studied. They've been studying this since like 1993. Go look it up. Just put in "women are wonderful dynamic" or "women are wonderful phenomena." Think about that. What it is. I'll just go get it really quick here. Women are wonderful effect. That's what it's called. The women are wonderful effect is a social. This is from Google's AI. The women are wonderful effect is a social psychological phenomenon where people generally associate more positive traits with women than with men. This bias is emotional and reflects a tendency to view women more favorably. However, this effect is often linked to traditional gender roles, which of course, which are true. And research indicates that it can be weaker in more gender egalitarian societies. Can be. But the thing is, you got to throw that in there to balance out the women are wonderful effect. And if you go to Wikipedia here, let's see, it says the bias. Oh, here it is. The women are wonderful effect is a phenomenon found in psychology, in psychological and sociological research, which suggests that people associate more positive attributes with women when compared to men. This bias reflects an emotional bias towards women as a general case. The phrase was first coined by Alice Eagley and Antonio Maldinic in 1984 after finding that both male and female participants tend to assign positive traits to women, with female participants showing a far more pronounced bias. Positive traits were assigned to men by participants of both genders, but to a far lesser degree. Okay, that is the women are wonderful effect. Go look it up if you want to learn a little bit more about that. This, as far, there you go. All right. Expect to hear this from the women are wonderful effect. Bet you any amount of money, Ryan Taraban rips that one off. There you go. Free one for you again. But I'm going to tell you this. No one is talking about this. I have never heard anyone in the manosphere, anyone in the red pill, anyone in the Evo Psych gatekeepers side of things, never heard Scott Galloway, never heard Holmath, never heard Rob Henderson, never heard any of these people. Not one, not even Orion Taraban. None of these guys has ever said the women are wonderful effect. None of them. I'm the only one, to my knowledge, I'm the only one that's ever done anything about this. In fact, I'm thinking about writing a whole essay on it, which of course now I'm going to get preempted by Orion Taraban. That's what it comes down to. Well, show me proof that we live in a gynocentric social order. Well, there you go. Exhibit A. Would you like Exhibit B, C, D, and E? I'll give you those too. Got those. I got those on tap if you want to see those as well. Hell, why don't I go do that? I got nothing but time today. Let's see. There we go. Oh God, this is a great one. This is just the most recent one. You want to hear? You want a proof of this effect right now? I'll give it to you right this instant. Here's the effect. Got that? Okay, this is good. Let's get to this. Is Steve Stewart Williams as of this month, and by the way, he's got a new book coming out in June that I cannot wait to get my hands on. Okay, also evaluating resumes consistently favor AIs, artificial intelligences. Evaluating resumes consistently favor applicants with female names over those with male ones, even when the resumes are otherwise identical. And this is the proof below right here. Okay, you might not think that that an algorithm would care whether a job applicant is a man or a woman. Unlike us biased humans, it would focus only on what matters, the skills and the other attributes of the individual applicant. Well, it turns out you'd be wrong. Recent research by David Rosado shows that AIs evaluating resumes consistently favor applicants with female names over those with male ones, even when the resumes are otherwise identical. Some of our AI overlords have picked up some of our AI overlords have picked up some of our bad habits. See here and here for human examples of pro-female and hiring. And then they go down through the different AI models that are used for this. Grok, by the way, is on there as well. And they consistently favored female candidates for that. There you go. How do you like that? You like apples? How do you like them apples? Let's see. Okay. Oh, by the way, here's another thing I was going to use. Fascinating study on long-term trends in educational assortative mating in South Korea using 13 census data sets. The authors find that educational assortative mating in South Korea, of all places, follows a strong inverted U shape from 1960 to 2020, with the peak occurring around 1995. Now it is on a strong downturn. Why do you suppose that is? Funny you should ask, children. I've got a really great video for you. Where'd it go? Here we go.
The numbers exactly, but South Korea, you'll know, has the lowest fertility rate in the world.
For every 100 South Koreans, there will be 4 great-grandchildren.
Right. Like, there's never been a plague that has knocked out that many people.
The 96% extinction rate over the next 100 years.
It's incredible.
Of Koreans. Remembering that we shut down the entire world for something that kills 1 to 2% of people.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the most incredible evolutionary bottleneck that we're going through.
Right. So why do you suppose that is? Here's the truth. That Louise Perry and Chris Williamson, once again, what is this, the 5th time she's been on the show, are dancing around feminism, the gynocentrism. Why? This is fascinating. Why is this happening? Because feminism is more deadly than the Black Plague. I put this up as a tweet not too long ago. It's more deadly than the Black Plague. And let's see if I can back that up here with something. I love this. Here we go. Oh, this was another one. Laura Robinson. This is such a weird myth that people apparently need zero evidence to believe. Wealthy men with post-grad educations hardly ever marry women who don't have the same background. You can look at any study. Well, maybe that's why South Korea is falling apart. It all depends on like what the criteria is. Like nobody wants to accept the fact that, oh God, that's a good one too. Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. I'm trying to find my post for God. Pierce Morgan was on Jubilee, and he looks like he has got some kind of neurological disorder. Where did it go? There it is. I did so many of these bot tweets that I like have to scroll through these things. Oh, here it is. Much better. Oh, I know what it was. So here's the deal. Okay, this is good. Let's go with this. I'm going to share this with you guys because we're going to talk about South Korea here, or Korea, because this is a really good example of the assortative mating myth that's going on right now. Let's see. There we go. I thought this was fantastic. I'll just read this wholesale here. South Korea is quietly living through something no society has ever survived. A 96% population collapse in just our generations, with zero war, zero plague, and zero famine. 100 people per day equals 25 children, 6 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren. That's it. Game over for an entire nation. By 2125, if fertility stays where it's at, is 0.68 to 0.72. No historical catastrophe comes even close. The Black Death killed 50% in a few years. The Mongol invasions 10 to 15% regionally, and the Spanish flu about 2 to 2.5% globally. South Korea is on pace to lose 96% of its genetic lineage in a single century peacefully. We shut down an entire world for a virus with 1 to 2% fatality. This is 96% extinction, and the silence is deafening. Japan, Taiwan, Italy, Spain, Singapore, Hong Kong, Poland, Greece, and all following the same curve, just 10 to 20 years behind. This is the biggest story of our lifetime, and it's barely trending. 25-second clips below shows the math is in a terrifying simplicity. This was the video I just showed you. If you live in Seoul, Tokyo, Taipei, Milan, Warsaw, Singapore, or anywhere on this list, they reply with your city with one sentence as to why you think this is happening. Now, of course, with me being the smartass, feminism is more deadly than the Black Plague. More deadly than the Black Plague. No one is going to say this. In fact, I don't even think Orion Taraban probably wouldn't even bring that one up. But it's more deadly. Of course, even Chris Williamson and Louise Perry wouldn't connect those dots. They don't want to connect this because women are wonderful. It might be unflattering. It's going to be men's fault as to why women don't want to fuck them. So population's going to be extinct. That's the mathematics. 96% attrition rate inside of 50 years, something like that, peacefully. What one major human invention would have possibly inspired such a thing? You want to know how dangerous? Imagine this. Imagine me going on like Pierce Morgan or me going on like a major network and saying, well, feminism is more dangerous than the Black Plague. Yes, here you go. I'll just give you I'll just read that, like memorize that tweet and just bring out the data sets for that and say it's because of our atmosphere. It's because of our dating situation, because of the sexual marketplace. It's because of female empowerment. I'm going to go full turd flinging monkey, credit where it's due, take away women's rights. He's not wrong. You want an immediate solution. That's the immediate solution, which is never going to happen because Dr. Deborah So thinks that it should be a deregulated sexual marketplace. As much as they would like to say that it's all about assortative mating, it is not. They don't even believe in assortative mating. And if they did, we would still be able to have, we would think South Korea would still be South Korea. North Koreans can walk across the border unopposed, like within probably 25 years. Not even that. They can probably do it now. Unopposed. Yep. Why do you think this is, Rolo? Very good. Women still won't settle for average guys, which is exactly why I said you have to take care of the Delta males. Delta males keep the lights on. If there's no incentive for Delta males to be Delta males, they ain't going to do it. It's not because they're protesting. It's not because they're misogynist assholes. There's nothing there. They're happy to do what they do. But they can't reproduce because average women don't want average Delta men. That's why. Simple as that. Stick a fork in it. It's done. Where did it go? There you go. Oh my God. All right. Let's see. What time is it? Oh gosh, we're at the 2.5 hour mark already. Gosh, I've been enjoying myself today. I'm surprised the stream's actually been holding up, and my light still has some energy left in it too. I got this really cool traveling light. I got this after the CES. It was a really great light that they had on there. This is my traveling rig. Where's the video file? Let's go. Let's have a look at these things here, shall we? Let's see. Oh God, that was a pretty good one. I'm trying to find the one that is. Oh, here we go. Scott Galloway, my favorite.
Embrace and appreciate young men who are really horny. Wanting to have sex. There's fire, right? Fire can be bad. If it's channeled in bad ways, it can burn down a forest. But if you can put it in an engine with spark plugs, it can create.
Who's made the comparison of the red pill being like fire? Strange. Okay.
Tremendous productive motion forward. And if you use that desire to establish romantic and sexual relationships, to be a better person, to demonstrate kindness, to be a better dresser, to have a plan, to be in good shape, to smell nice.
Shut the fuck up. It's like these guys are just coming in off of the fucking oil derrick, and you go, you know what? I'm going to skip the shower tonight and just go out to the club and see if I can find a hot piece of ass.
To be well read, to be interesting, to learn how to fucking listen. I graduated from UCLA with a 2.27 GPA. That's not very good. I came very close to being kicked out of UCLA. One of the reasons I graduated from college, one of the few reasons I went on campus, was anytime you went onto the campus at UCLA, it was like a bad Cinemax film. There were so many ridiculously hot people everywhere, and they were all pretty friendly. I used to go on campus a lot and go to class. Why? Because there was always a non-zero probability I was going to connect with my mates, meet some women, invite them back to a party at a fraternity, and maybe somewhere down the line have an opportunity to be physical with that woman. That was so motivating. Now, if I'd had on-demand porn that felt really lifelike with ridiculously hot women and algorithms calibrating in on all of my fetishes on my phone and on my computer, readily accessible, I'm not sure I would have gone on campus as much. I'm not sure I would have graduated from college.
I love how it always comes back to porn. It's always the porn that's doing it. That's what's cute. It's like, how about this, Scott? How about it's the female empowerment attitudes, and guys are looking for, like, pornography is going to be there no matter. Porn was there, maybe not as accessible when you were in college, I'm sure. But and porn is most definitely a sedation. I would 100% agree with that. But the fact of the matter is that we keep coming back to that. We always want to throw it back on the guys. Well, I was like, just smell nice and be kind. Well, it's funny you should say that, because I have some very interesting information about Mr. Scott Galloway. Which it took me all like 5 minutes to dig this stuff up. Okay, his personal life. Scott Galloway met his second wife, Beata Galloway, the real estate developer born in Poland, at a Raleigh Hotel pool in Miami. They have 2 sons together. Galloway and his family have resided in London since 2022. Okay. So I wanted to point this out because as the story goes, this is his second wife. Okay. One thing that's left out of, and I had to dig this up, one of the things that's left out of the Wikipedia description here is that when he met her, he was 34 and she was 19. It was in 1998, I believe, if memory serves. And so you're looking at a chick who's 19, and she was with another guy too, at a Miami pool somewhere, right? And I thought this was interesting because this flies in the face of the assortative mating strategy thing. Like they go out of their way to say that she is a real estate developer born in Poland. Yes, but they don't tell you the particulars of how they met. They met because she was 19 and he was 34 years old. And Scott's got an interesting background when it comes to his personal life. I don't know what happened with his first wife. I know he's described this to Chris Williamson on a couple of occasions, but he doesn't like to go into too much detail about it. Well, the fact of the matter is she was 19, he was 34 years old. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say she didn't have an advanced degree at 19 years old. And my gut is just telling me that she was not necessarily after him at 34 because he was a hot guy. It was most likely because at that stage she was making a shit ton of money. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is the kind of guy who's not going to worry too much about what Deborah So is going to talk about when it comes to high value men, in this case, a high earning guy with an advanced degree, which of course he has from UCLA, I believe, and is a professor of said economics or whatever the fuck he's doing. And I don't know why he feels motivated to talk shit about today's general. Maybe it's just because he's grifting, but they're talking about, what guys should and shouldn't do today. This is the guy that met him. Remember, he's married at the time, met his second wife at 19. She was 19 and he was 34. And by the way, bravo, man. Like proof positive. Like following the Mike Sartain program for hooking up, right? 19. I don't know that he was I don't know if he was bald back then. He kind of comes off as like the perpetually bald guy, but he might not have been. I don't know. He looks like he's on death's door, quite honestly, but I don't know. And got to remember, the dude is he's a promise keeper too. Yeah, you're right. You are correct. You're correct about that. He's a promise keeper too. Didn't want to end up like his dad. That is true. If you know anything about him. But I thought it was interesting because he kind of flies in the face. I wanted to keep that one around because his whole shtick is like, well, I only stuck around UCLA because there are hot girls there. I'll give you this, man. Fucking Scott Galloway, he might not have been the guy who fucked. I doubt he was, but he wanted to be. Definitely wanted to be the guy who fucked. And that's why he's like, in praise of horny guys. Well, she's not wrong. I've said this before. It's like, this is, by the way, he's basically just sort of paraphrasing Sigmund Freud. Freud said, what was it? That all energy is sexual. So if you take that sexual energy and you repress it, and if a guy doesn't know how to get laid, he's going to use that energy or motivation. Let's just say, I hate to use it because it sounds like I'm talking about crystals and shit. He's going to use that motivation to help him create a computer. He's going to turn into Steve Jobs. He's going to turn into Jeff Bezos. He's going to come up with a way to do an end run around his sexlessness. That is how most, certainly Delta males, and then Gamma males as well, resolve their reproductive problem, which, by the way, is something I came up with, not Myron Gaines. Oh, hell on, Caps Lock Hustler.
I'm assuming some stupid Christian talked some shit, and when I went to cook dinner, bring it on, Christians. Christianity is hands down the most overrated religion and biggest producer of cowardly blue pill.
Thank you, Ryan, for your Caps Lock Hustler. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Caps Lock Hustler. Escort him to the door. Oh no. Let him cook. Calm your tits. I'll tell you when you can calm your tits. There you go. But Scott's not necessarily wrong about that. I just think his solutions are not or incorrect. One of the things I talked about this with Mike not too long ago, and Mike is probably a little bit more optimistic than I am about this, but Mike likes Scott Galloway, and I think it's really Mike being diplomatic. Like Mike has to like everybody, right? Because he doesn't want to, like, he's got to be the guy that's like, he wants to go on everybody's show. I get it. I am the Rollo Tomasi is the albatross around Mike Sartain's neck. Like, they don't like the stink of Rollo on them. But I think he likes Scott in the sense that he likes Scott because Scott is this dyed-in-the-wool, progressive, liberal, wokesy, leftist dude who still has to acknowledge the fact that, the many facts that the red pill has been talking about for 2 fucking decades right now. And that's when people go and say, well, Rollo, you're just jealous. You're professionally jealous because he gets to be invited on Chris Williamson and you don't, or Joe Rogan, or has he been on Rogan? I don't know if he's been on Rogan yet. He gets to go talk to Pierce Morgan. And you don't. Like, yeah, but he's basically saying the same thing. And the reason for that is because they don't like what I have the potential to say. Like, it's whenever I see Scott Galloway or even Rob Henderson has done the same thing. Like, Rob Henderson is as red pill as a lot of the guys that I know that are in the space. He just doesn't like the stink of it. He just doesn't want to be. He doesn't like, for a guy who pops off about like luxury beliefs and elites and status and everything. He's the most elitist, most status-seeking fucker that I can imagine, because he uses the same thing. He just doesn't want to acknowledge that anybody who might be beneath him actually might have said something that made some fucking sense, right? And I use his data, I use his tweets to talk about the shit that he talks about. But you don't want to give me the time of day. You don't want to give Myron the time of day. Somebody wanted us, was it me and Myron what was it? Somebody wanted me and Myron to go on someone's show. And there's a lot of shows we could go on. And I love it when people say, you need to get Myron and Rollo on there, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for the props. Thank you for trying. Thanks for the effort. But the fact of the matter is we're not in their ecosystem. Myron and I are not in their ecosystem. Myron can get on a lot of places. Myron can get on a lot of shows. I've been on Tim Pool too, but we can both get on Tim Pool. So we're sort of in Tim's ecosystem. At least he knows us well enough to have his producer call us up and have us on. We've never been on together, which I think would be a really fucking great show, Tim Pool. But they're never going to have me and Scott Galloway on there. They're never going to have me, Myron, and Scott Galloway. They're never going to have me, Myron, and I don't know, Louise Perry. They're never going to have us on there because we ruined their narrative for them. And they'll realize that what they're saying, they can't afford to have people realize that what they're saying has been said and has been covered ad infinitum for the past 20 some odd years. And that when we come on, it sounds like we're complaining, right? But when we come on, we fuck up the narrative. We fuck up their program. People might pay attention to us. People keep asking me, like, Rollo, how come you're getting shadow banned on you? Yes, I know. Thank you. I've known that for quite some time. I know I get shadow banned. Now the question is this: why? Why am I being shadow banned? I'm not saying anything. Maybe I'm putting it in a different. I'm coming to different conclusions. I'm using the same information. I'm just parsing it out differently. I'm just interpreting. There's data, and then there's interpreting the data. And when I interpret the data, I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it. I'm not going to go, oh my gosh, I might lose half of my female audience. I don't have a female audience. I got 2% of my audience is probably female, if that. Thank you, you two lady. but Sorolita, thank you for watching. You're probably you represent the 1% of my female audience. Tiffany's watching. Tiffany Fox is watching me too. So let's pull out Scott Galloway and let's put in, who should we put in next? Let's see. Oh God. And let's put in Scott Galloway again.
Is on what women find attractive to men. One, their ability to signal resources. If you got the Range Rover and the Panerai, fine. But you don't even need those yet. You need to have a plan.
No, you need to have looks, bald man. You need to have looks. You need to have a look. You need to lift. You need to get in the fucking gym. You need to lose weight. None of that matters. None of that fucking matters. Like, if you want a woman who really wants to fuck you because she wants to fuck you, it doesn't matter if you have the Range Rover or the Panera or whatever the fuck it is. It won't make any difference. They're not fucking the Range Rover. They have to fuck you.
I went to school to learn how to install energy efficient HVAC heaters. I got a plan.
Okay, the guy that does that is a Delta male. An average guy does that.
Going to be able to provide. 2, intellect. The fastest way to communicate intellect is to be funny. But the third thing, and it's lesser known, and I think it's kind of a secret weapon, is kindness.
Okay, this is where I fucking got to pull the fucking plug here. I'll come back to him. If women fucked kind guys, guys would be kind. If it fucking worked, if it was an incentive, if it was a prompt, if it was a motivator, men would be climbing over themselves to be the most kind guy in the world. And then he goes on and has the balls to say, well, what's the difference between a nice guy and a guy who's kind? Nothing, really. Oh, well, a nice guy is a guy who's just doing it because he wants to get you in your pants. A kind guy is just doing it because it's out of the goodness of it. He just happens to be kind. The end result is the same. The end result is you going home with dick in hand. No, the number one arousal factor is muscularity and visible, definable muscularity. That's how you get in the door. Then maybe your personality matters. Then maybe your socioeconomic status matters. I keep trying to, I'm beating my fucking head against the goddamn wall about the fact that there's a difference between attraction and arousal. And everything that Scott Galloway says, and I'll continue here in a minute, everything that Scott Galloway talks about is leading to one thing, not pussy, marriage. That's what it's leading to. And that's the second part of today's sort of analysis of assortative mating, okay? Every single time I have to listen to somebody tell me, well, assortative mating means that 6s marry 6s and 5s marry 5s and 7s and 8s marry 8s and 5s. It's this lateral move, right? An educated guy. I know what it was. It was Robert Henderson was saying, if you only have a high school diploma, your odds of marrying a person, the opposite sex, who has a graduate degree, like a BA, I guess, a bachelor's degree, or even post-grad, right? You only have a 9% chance of marrying a person who has a college degree. So what we're supposed to infer, because that's data, right? What are we supposed to infer from that? Well, I want to get married to somebody smart because that means that I'm going to have smart babies. And that must be the criteria that women use when they're looking for some guy to marry and settle down with. No, it's fucking not. No, it isn't. And the other thing that kills me is that if it were, why are we using marriage as a litmus test, as the benchmark, as the fucking metric for relational success in an era where we have the lowest marriage rate in recorded, certainly US, but in recorded human history? Why are we still pointing that way? Why is Korea going to go extinct? Why are we using marriage as the fucking benchmark of the goal state that we need to get to, especially in an era where it is for man, it is the worst fucking possible decision. It's the worst business arrangement, the worst contract you could sign. But that's the goal. In fact, you're going to be shamed, and you're going to be as a guy, you're not living up to women's standards if you're not doing everything that makes you marriageable to get into that contract in the first place. Only 9% of high school graduates marry college grads. And who fucking cares? It's like, that's the thing. Yes, but if I look like fucking Alvaro Pena and I am, I don't even think he has a college, he has a high school diploma, right? If I look like him, odds are I can still probably fuck the chick with the post-grad degree, because they don't care about what you make. They have already taken care of their long-term security needs. They've already taken care of, at least perceptually anyways, have already taken care of the beta buck side of hypergamy, which is provisioning, protection, and parental investment. If a woman can provide those things for herself, she don't need no man. She wants a man. What man does she want? A guy that looks like Alvaro. That's what she fucking wants. That's what that's on the list. And it doesn't matter that 9% of high school grads are going to marry a fucking, college, a highly educated woman, fresh out of college, master's degree, bachelor's degree even, right? Do you think that matters? No, it fucking doesn't. And I'll tell you this, it also doesn't matter how kind he is either. As a matter of fact, the less kind he is, the more difficult it is to get that guy's attention. That's the dude they want to fuck, right? I mean, I put this on here. Where did it go? This chick. Why don't we like the great guy? There's a man worth $200 million who keeps asking me to be his girlfriend. He's smart. We talk histories and politics, have amazing, insightful conversations. I'm pretty sure she'd probably say the guy's kind, but there's no spark. Why? Because he looks like Scott Galloway and not like Alvaro Pena. That's why. Okay, I'll let you finish. Here we go.
I think there's a differentiation between being kind and nice. I think women notice when you're being really nice to them, but you're not necessarily a kind person.
How would you delineate between the two?
You're being so nice, complimenting her because you're hoping to get her to like you and have sex with you.
Okay, here's the thing. Guys who are hoping and trying and striving and struggling to get her attention, to do nice things, to be, to prove your quality to milady. First of all, that's just simping is what that is. Okay. Now, the other part of this is why would that matter? Like, especially if it's the Range Rover and you want to be kind and you want to prove your quality to that person, right? The problem is this guy doesn't know anything except for the transactional nature of sex. Like when I was in my when I was in my rockstar 20s, I learned very quick that it had nothing to do with how nice I was. It had nothing to do getting laid. Like meeting chicks and having, and by the way, some of those turned into relationships. Most of them didn't, but you can still parlay a one-night stand. Even you could parlay, casual sex into a relationship. I know, I've done it myself. Known a lot of other people who have as well. Fuck, even the wife I'm with right now. I wasn't exclusive with her in the beginning. She's the one that came to me and wanted to be exclusive. I'm like, okay, you're the hottest piece of ass I'm with right now. I'm good with that. Right. And what gets me is guys like this giving advice saying, oh, you don't be nice of being kind. It's like, no. I wonder how many women would, let me finish. Let him finish. I wonder how, ask yourself this question while you listen to the rest of this. How many women would be able to tell the difference between a guy being kind and a guy being nice because he wants to get into her pants? What do you think women are sensitive enough to really understand that dynamic?
As opposed to planting trees the shade of which you won't live under.
Okay, that's bullshit, okay?
Holding doors open for people, being patient, small acts of kindness with no reciprocal expectation. Because the reality is a woman is going to be vulnerable during gestation. And instinctively, they want to know someone is going to be kind. I think that's kind of the secret.
Yes, but they also need somebody who can change a diaper and slit throats on the same fucking day. It's the slit throats part that none of these guys want to fucking admit. It's the data that shows that violent gang members are have 3.2% or 3.2 children more than just average guys of their same peer group, right? It's the fact that Morning Glory Milky Farm is the number one best fucking seller. Do you think the Minotaur is kind? In that story, I'm Reddit, but I'm pretty sure the Minotaur in Morning Glory Milky Farm does not meet the criteria that that Scott Galloway is proposing is attractive and is what women are looking for in a guy. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Secret weapon, what I tell men is to start establishing a kindness practice such that it becomes second nature, and women will notice. You know, the whole notion around the bad boy effect, I think that works in the short term, but I think ultimately who women partner with and who they're drawn to, and the research shows, is kindness.
Oh, really? Are you sure about that? Because
Piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
That's right, the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash.
What do you mean?
Scott, Morning Glory Milking Farm. Your argument is irrelevant. The end. Be the Minotaur. Don't be kind. Kindness gets you. I've used the kindness card. It doesn't buy much. Okay, I'm sorry to say it doesn't. It might buy you something when you're in a relationship. Yes. But before you get into the relationship, no, it does fuck all for you. Pre-selection, social proof, be the fucking Minotaur, be jacked, be interesting, be funny, have game, have some money of some sort. You don't have to be Jeff Bezos level. You don't have to be you don't have to be the top one. You don't have to make $450,000 a year. That's great if you do. Awesome. I'm not saying don't do that. But trust me, you're still going to get laid if you're making $450,000 a year or you're making $50,000 a year if you look like Alvaro Pena. If you have an attitude of just sort of like brash independence. They say a strong, independent woman. Yeah. Well, you know what? Guess what? Women want strong, independent men is what they want. That's oddly enough, the women who pride themselves on being strong, independent women, that's exactly what they're projecting onto men. They want a guy who's going to say, you know why that is because a guy who doesn't give a shit is a guy who is so rewarded with the attention and sex and status and is rewarded with social rewards that he doesn't fucking care what you think. He doesn't care. Like an alpha male I hate to use the Pride of Lions example again, but what is it? It's like, the alpha male lion is not reactive. He's non-reactive, right? Because he knows he's the fucking king of the jungle. So shit goes on in front of him. He's just going to casually get up. The only thing that prompts him to action is stuff that is actually worth getting up and fucking with, right? They're not nervous birds, that's a beta male, right? Well, why is an alpha guy? Why is a high value man independent? Because he doesn't care whether or not that woman likes him or doesn't like him. He's not trying to. He's not a nice guy, right? By Scott's fucking definition, anyways. So, what's this? Thank you for joining us, Madison. What's this live all about? Well, it's about what is a high value man. There you go. All you had to do was read the fucking description and you would have understood that. Thank you for coming to the class late. Go to the front of the class. Actually, go to the back of the class. Take notes. Okay, here's the thing. Any books, etc. on No, it's funny you should say that. You answered your own question in your own statement here. Any books on practical tips to be an abusive asshole? Nobody's saying be an abusive asshole, okay? But again, you're not going to find any books on that because it is because it is something you practice. It's not something you, hey, I learned this book. Now I got the certification, took the test. I'm a certified asshole. Only Aaron Clary can certify you as an asshole. No, you don't have to be a dick. That's the thing is like, I'm not saying like, be kind, be a nice guy. I'm just, okay, whatever. Like, that's just basic fucking shit, man. Open doors for people. Okay. You know how many times I held the fucking elevator door since I've been at the Teddy Ball since Friday? Not because I'm going, oh, look, little lady, I'm holding the door open for you. Huh, I must be chivalrous. Get the fuck out of here. You just do that because you do it. It's just common fucking courtesy. It's not going to get you laid. You're just doing it because you're a cool dude. That's all. If you think you're going to get laid, then you're not. That's the thing is. What is it? Why is physicality protection beta bucks, not alpha fucks? Well, it's both, actually. Funny you should say that. It is. And I'll tell you why it is, because that's a very good question. Sorry. I've answered this on several occasions, actually. It's like people say, well, is having physical prowess, is that a beta trait or is that an alpha trait? And the answer is both, because for long-term security, like women want dominant men. They want like insanely dominant men. And I don't think we really appreciate the degree of dominance that women expect from a guy. Pull my fucking hair. That's the level of spit in my fucking mouth, right? That's the level of dominance. Morning Glory Milking Farm is the level of fucking dominance, okay? Because that's what's fantasized about. Do you have to do? No, but harness that energy, okay? So what I was going to say is it an alpha trait or is it a beta trait? Like I said, it's both, because the alpha trait, like when a woman sees and you're jacked and you have like, big shoulders and you got a V taper and you got, you have all the physical signs of physical ability, which is really a potential for violence. That's number one. You look like you could chop wood. You could slit wrists or slit throats. You look like you could wield an axe. You look like you could, like, there's a lot of implications that goes with physical strength. One of those, like, why do women like guys' butts? Because thrusting power, right? Because you've got those glutes and everything. Why do women not like fat guys? Because they look like they're going to fucking gas out before they can like get them off. That's why. They don't want a fat dude. Because the guy doesn't have any, you can't run away. A fat dude can't run away from a fucking woolly mammoth or from a saber-toothed tiger, or whatever, a predator. The guy who looks physical looks like he could probably take on that. He could bring home more meat to the tribe. Ergo, he has a higher status, right? So that is a long-term security benefit, but it's also the proximate goal, the proximate outcome is that it's also what women want in their sons. And so then we go back to sexy son theory. And so women tend to gravitate towards guys who have more muscularity, more visible, defined muscularity. I'm not saying like powerlifters. I love you guys. Don't get me wrong, but like that's a sport. Okay. Sumo wrestlers, very strong. Probably not on the top of most women's most wanted guy list. Okay. Like there's a lot of reasons to be like Samoan. Samoans got it going on, man. Maori guys got it going on. But yeah. But it's both. The alpha, that's the great thing about muscularity, is it satisfies both sides of hypergamy, which is why you should get in fucking shape, right? In the short-term sexual aspect, yes, women want muscular dudes. Why? Because they have physical prowess. They look like they could fuck you really good. They look like they would take control in the bedroom. They look like they could, what was the highest demonstration of the greatest demonstration of higher value in our ancestral past was the ability to kill another motherfucker. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not advocating. I'm not saying that YouTube, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that in our past, you want to know why hybristophilia, like women are attracted to like murderers and rapists and warlords and drug dealers and antisocial alphas? Why are they so attracted to the point of obsession with those guys? To Luigi, to Anders Breivik, to Nicholas Cruz, to hell, even what's his name, James Holmes, the Aspen theater shooter. Even that guy had a teenage fan club. It's because they look good, Rollo. Go look up pictures of James Holmes and tell me that dude is a looker. Okay, no, he's not. But he did have the capacity to kill people. And that's really where it comes from. That's why they want that. Women want dominant men. They just don't want them to be violent or dominant towards them or to their family. They want them to be dominant and violent towards everybody else. right? It's the Beauty and the Beast effect, right? She's the only one that can tame the beast. She's the only one that he is like that for. He's the only one that she has some special magic with respect to her femininity that brings that out in him. That's the fantasy. That's Morning Glory fucking milking farm, right? The Minotaur takes control, but like she trusts him implicitly. Like it's Beauty and the Beast. Big bad Rolo in the house. Different topic, but what rifle do you think is most suitable for home defense? I have a Smith & Wesson FPC 10 millimeter. Well, you'll always have ammo. And a Daniel Defense AR-15 556 NATO 220. I know. Which is best for home defense? Where do you live? I live in South Africa. Yeah. No. For the record, I don't have any firearms in my house. They all were lost in a tragic boating accident. So before I say what I'm saying, I have no firearms. You didn't see anything. Gosh, I don't know. I've heard, I don't know. I would probably go with the 10 millimeter only because it depends on like what, I mean, if you just like jack people up, yeah, you use the 556, but God, should I tell you what I have? I don't like to talk about like the firearms that I actually have. Because I don't want anybody to know that I have them. What the fuck? I'll just say I have a Bursa 9mm, Bursa Thunder 9mm, and then I have my everyday carry, which is my Taurus. That's a 380. And then I have which is not on me right now, obviously, but it's in my car. That's where it is. What else? I have CCW. I have 556. I have an AR 556. So I guess if you're asking me personally, that's what I have. I don't know if that's necessarily the best because then you've got to like take. I don't have my, like, put it this way. If I had an intruder in my house in Las Vegas, which happens, if I had an intruder in my house in the middle of the night, I don't think I would go for the 556. Because I'd have to get it out of the case, then rack it and go. I would have to get my 9mm. I think that's probably what I would opt for. And then I also have a 22 long rifle that I plink with, but that's just for fun. I've heard that shotguns are actually the best form of home defense, but then the thing is like if somebody comes in your house and maybe they're armed too, like it'd probably be better to like cap them with 1 or 2 shots than like boom and then like all the shot just scatters everywhere and now you've got all these home improvements you have to do. It's like there's a convenience factor too, I guess. I don't know. I'm probably the last person who should be asking that question. Yeah, there you go. Do I have another super chat somewhere? I thought I did. Anyways, gosh, we're at the 307 mark. I went over what I thought I was going to do today. And the sun is going down in lovely San Diego. I am right by the coast, and I can open the windows and smell the salt air. It is awesome here. Yeah, I pulled a Dexter. Yeah, I pulled a Dexter. You're correct. Is there anything else we were going to get into today? That's that. Okay, question time. Q&A time. You better ask them if you got them. I had another video I was going to throw out here real quick. Oh, wait, no, I have to do this. Sorry, I have to put the shit. I totally forgot. I spaced on this.
Worst day of the year for me is?
Oh, I know this. Go.
Tax day?
No.
It's Akaash.
Okay, let me back this up. I have to preface this. It just keeps getting worse for Akaash. I'm sorry, but it does. It just keeps getting worse.
The worst day of the year for me is?
Oh, I know this. Go.
Tax day?
No.
It's Akaash's birthday.
And I feel it because she's being nice to me all day. And by like 10 p.m., I can feel her getting just like, I'm so ready for this to be over.
Why?
It's like I turned back into a pumpkin at 12:01, May 5th, and she's so relieved that she gets to be mean again.
Okay, May the 4th is Akaash's birthday. And
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and every year I dread it because I have to be nice the whole day, and I have to get him something, and I have to also be nice and do like acts
said
of
that twice.
kindness.
She said,
really
she said that
not
twice.
okay with
You know,
it.
she said that twice.
She's really not okay with it.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's really hard.
Okay, so the worst part of this is not even her. Okay, the worst part of this is Akaash's reaction to her saying this. This, you guys know this. I mean, do I even need to, like, what's going on here? Would you like me to tell you what's going on here? He's defeated. He's resigned himself to this complete, utter servitude. And like, you want to talk about a guy, remember I've told you guys this before, the worst position you can be in as a dude is to gaslight yourself. This is what gaslighting yourself looks like. And it's ha 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 ha. We're normal. Really, we're normal. Really, we are. We're really normal people.
For her, it's really hard. She needs to just,
Listen, I'm just used to being treated like a princess all day, every day. So that one day that I don't.
Oh, what torture.
Yeah. It's
And
hard.
treat somebody else like they're the main character. That's like the love in her book. That's what it is. That's what it is.
This birthday, he didn't really give a fuck either because he gave me this ring and he was like, I've done enough. Oh, God.
Yeah. What are you look at the ring.
See what I mean? See what I mean? Now, do you think he's being nice or do you think he's being kind? And he is married to this chick. Scott Galloway, is this niceness or is this kindness? It doesn't matter because neither of them work, especially with this chick. That's exactly. I'm trying to make a case here and try to stay on top.
We went to Turks.
But did you get her flowers?
Oh, I hate women. I hate women.
Flowers.
I hate women.
Wait,
I only get flowers for Valentine's Day.
I hate women.
Barely.
See? All right, let's pull that out. Put me back. There we go. Nice or kind? Oh, but wait, it gets even worse. There we go.
So do me a favor, to all my brown girls who are starting college, you actually don't have to date the first guy that gives you attention. And believe me, I know I'm speaking from experience because I was super sheltered in high school, didn't really date, was a late bloomer. So when I got to high school, when I got to college, I was like, oh my God, it's like open season and like all these guys are like starting to give me attention and like everyone's being so social. And literally like the first guy I met on the first day I moved in, I ended up dating him on and off for a year. Why? You don't have to settle for someone's crusty, dusty son. Like, settle in, get your friend group going, see like where you kind of vibe, and then maybe like wait for the third guy or like.
What guy do you think Akaash was in that priority order?
Like the fifth guy that gives you attention, and then like maybe you can like go for that, because I think like especially brown girls who grow up really sheltered, it's just like so fun to be in this new environment, to be without your parents, to be like living in dorms and
to fucking whoever you want to,
like co-ed situations. And I get the excitement, but
see, the unspoken thing that's going on right here is she's basically describing her hoe phase. Have a hoe phase. It's what was it? Sheryl Sandberg. It's Sandbergian open hypergamy is what it is. You know, date all of them. Date the hot boys. Date the bad boys. Date the jerks. Whatever. But don't marry them. Wait until you get a nice beta male guy like Akaash to come along and be kind to you, who wants an opinionated woman. And in time, nothing's sexier.
don't settle. Like, learn more about yourself before you kind of just like lock yourself down in a situation with a relationship that.
This is regret. This is buyer's remorse. And look on the other side, they are in Paris.
Like probably like won't last that long anyways, because it's usually just like puppy love and you know all that stuff. But I'm saying that with the best of intentions. It's gonna be like so much fun. I feel like I had so many fun memories in college, so yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I had so much fun memories in college. Notice that has been a consistent theme for, what's her name, Sajit, whatever. I forgot what her name is. It starts with an S. Notice that everything that comes out of her is like, I have to be nice to this guy. I wish I would have done things differently. I wish. It's buyer's remorse. It's regret for not having a hoe phase. It's regret for not going out and having more fun. Even in that one interview where she's talking about the other guy's dick, his banana size, right? And how she would wake up and her butt would hurt because she had anal sex the night before or whatever. Like, that's what she misses at what, 30, 31, something like that. That's what she's missing right now. Making up for missing out. That's the common theme. It keeps repeating itself over and over again. So I'm just going to leave you with this, is that what's the upside? First of all, why would you even want to stay in this relationship? The longer Akaash stays in this relationship, the worse it's going to get. This is just going to keep happening. He has no career. He's already, there's another video that's floating around. I don't have it on tap right now, but there's another video floating around where he got like somebody in the audience, I guess a heckler. I wouldn't know if it's a heckler, but like somebody in the audience like confronted him on his wife, and he lost his shit. So I've seen the video. I don't have it on tap. I know it's floating around Instagram right now. I think maybe Myron's had something to say about it. But long story short is, first of all, Akaash needs to get out. But the bigger point, the greater point that I want to make in all this, is why am I bringing this up, is because is Akaash a high value man? Is he I think we can pretty much tell he's not an alpha male, but is he a high value man? Are those two things independent, like mutually exclusive of each other? I want to say yes, because as I said before, you can still be like high value in terms of like high earning. Maybe we should start terming it that way. Are you a high earning male? Because I will tell you right now, Akaash makes way more money than I do, but I'm way more red pill than he is. I don't know for a fact that he makes as much money as Myron. Maybe, maybe not. But like from a financial perspective, they would be comparative, I think. Does Akaash make at least $450,000 a year? Probably. Does Myron make $450,000 a year? Most definitely. So if you look at that from like the perspective that Perplexity gave to us, 450,000 is the definition of a high value, 1%, or 1%er. Okay. Did Akaash not marry? I think she has she's gone to college, right? So she has a graduate degree. I think he has one too. I'm pretty sure. Okay. So they're two people. Who respects who the most? What does the marriage look like? Now, the thing that gets me is this, is like when we talk about assortative mating, we're only once again using marriage as the litmus test in all of this. So are they a success? Are they is Akaash and his wife, are they an example of assortative mating, the ideal? No, clearly not. She hates him. He can tell that she hates him. To the point where he's gaslit himself, saying she doesn't really hate me. She's just joking. Nervous, insert nervous laugh, right? He makes more money than I do, probably. I think I make. What did I make last year? I made it. I'm in the top 1%. I'm just throw that out there. I'm in the top 1% myself. I did not marry my wife does not have a college degree. She has she has her medical certifications. Yes. And then I love this. I love when we asked about like degrees for women. It's like, oh, they're usually in the medical field. Yeah. You know who has the highest promiscuity rate in of any career? Nurses. You can look that up too. Again, proximity. But is Akaash a high value man? High earning man, for sure. Absolutely. He's a high earning individual. Is his wife a highly educated, right? Or a graduate? Is she a graduate level educated? Yes. Is that do you want what he's got? Do you want to live his life? So it's not just about marriage, and it's not just marriage is not evidence of a mating strategy. Now, I'm sure Akaash Akaash wanted everyone to think that he was marrying a virgin. She's a high quality woman. She's a high value woman. Of course he does. Clearly she wasn't. Clearly she was dating other guys. Clearly she was fucking other guys. Clearly she had anal sex with one of them, at least according to her, right? And clearly she resents having married Akaash. And I'm going to say Akaash, go talk to fucking James Sexton, man, because like he'll probably take your case. He'd probably love to take your case. He already thinks you're great. You know, I think he's mistaken in all of that. But I think maybe that's the thing is, I think remember when I showed you guys the video last week where James Sexton he was on that clip and he was like talking about how, I have met Akaash and he's a great guy and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're going to, James, I think it's pretty much set that you're going to be the one picking up his divorce. If he's going to get divorced, he's going to call you first. I'm fairly certain. So you don't need to suck his dick too much. Okay. So anyways, that's Tuesday night is anal night. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Do you think they have anal sex? I don't think so. So yeah, that's another thing. Do you think she has the same kind of sex with Akaash that she's had with her boyfriends in college that she is nostalgic for right now? I'm gonna say no. So is that assortative mating? So why am I making a fuss about assortative mating, right? People want to say, well, it's so obvious. Well, you know what else was obvious not even 2 years ago, like maybe a year and a half ago? Everybody wanted to run me up the flagpole, including Jasmine Jafar, including Destiny, including all these other fuckwits, you know, telling me that what was it, mate switching hypothesis, because it was in Dr. David Buss's book, Men Behaving Badly, was replacing dual mating strategy. And then suddenly, even Mack and Murphy had to admit that the research and the data was showing that dual mating strategy actually has some merit to it, and mate switching hypothesis is 100% fucking patently false. I've written several essays on this. We've gone into this in great detail on this show over the last certainly 18 months, right? But people ran me up the flagpole. Rollo, I can't. How dare you disagree with a luminary of evolutionary psychology, luminary like Dr. David Buss? I go, the guy wants to be an influencer. The guy wants to promote his dating program. The guy has something to sell, and this is what he's doing. He's selling himself out. He's going against everything he's talked about for most of his career so he can turn a quick buck. And how does he do that? Well, he has to in some way pay homage to the feminine imperative. How does he do that? He creates a book. The book is called Men Behaving Badly, and he wants to throw all of the things that he's promoted for most of his time, ovulatory shift, dual mating strategy, hypergamy, all of this stuff that we've talked about and have established over the last 20, 22 years, that he played no small part in establishing himself. Now we're going to trade all of that for one fucking half-baked hypothesis called mate switching hypothesis, meaning that women don't cheat because they want to fuck. They cheat because they're looking for the bigger and the better deal. No, that's not how it is. And we proved that through research. We proved that through experimentation and everything else. And now what? You don't hear anyone talking about that. No one is talking about mate switching hypothesis right now. In fact, they just swept that under the carpet, man. Mate switching what? Just fucking swept that shit. No one talks about that. And you know what they replaced it with? Assortative mating. Because they don't want to admit the truth. And the truth is that it is dual mating strategy is what women subscribe to. It is their innate, evolved mating and sexual strategy. Accept that, for the love of fucking Christ. Accept that. It is dual mating strategy. It is not assortative. It is not mate switching hypothesis. And the fact that you have to keep coming up with all of this fucking cope leads me to believe that your shit is not implicit bias. It is explicit bias. And it is your ideologies that are trying to inform other people to agree with you. And when anybody brings up the fact that Korea is going to be extinct, 96% of the population is going to be extinct, they will not lay it at the feet of feminism. They will not lay it at the feet of like innate mating strategies. They will find some way to blame men for that state. The Korean men just didn't man up. They just didn't man up. They just didn't do what they were supposed to. Their masculine duty. They weren't Christian enough. They didn't pray hard enough. They didn't fucking do what we wanted them to do. And so therefore the entire population is extinct. Thanks, Korean guys. That's what it's going to come down to. because we want to collectively keep our head in the fucking sand. They don't have any will to solve the problem. They don't even have any will to analyze the actual problem. That's why assortative mating is horseshit. It depended on an old order way of thinking, and it depended on a societal order that no longer fucking exists. And the reason why we know it doesn't exist is because women defaulted to a deregulated sexual marketplace, which gives hypergamy free reign. Such freedom that they openly embrace it right now. When I talk about open hypergamy, there you go. Once again, Dr. Tom Taraban. I wrote about this back as far back as 2013, 2014. Women are so comfortable in exposing their own game that they will create TV shows. They'll create, reality TV. They'll create commercials. They'll write books about how their hypergamy causes them so much inner turmoil and so much struggles and everything else. And well, he's hotter than him, and I'm going to fuck him. I'm going to be in my Jezebel era, and then when I get to be 30 years old, I'm going to settle down with a guy like Akaash. That's what it comes down to. And none of them want to be on that wall. I'm the only one on that fucking wall. Well, me and Turd Flingy Milk and Ryan. We're on that wall. We're all alone out there, right? And we get right up to the gate. We get right up to the gatekeepers. We get right up to fucking Chris Williamson. We get right up to Piers Morgan. We get right up to Chris Williamson. And you know what? They go, no, stop. And you know what they do? They go, oh, looks like you got some good shit over the gate. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. And I'm going to bring it over here and pretend that I fucking came up with it and build my brand with your good shit. That's what it comes down to. That's why Taraban's where he's at. That's why Chris Williamson's there. That's why even Rob Henderson is like so anti-fucking red pill right now. But he's so red pill, but he's so anti-red pill. He thinks that the guys are just taking evolutionary psychology and they're perverting it. No, we're not. We're just asking the questions you are unwilling or unable to ask. You're not afraid of us. You're afraid of the questions that we bring up because you don't want to answer those things. They're bad for fucking business. The questions that the manosphere and the red pill ask of psychology, social psychology, sociology, anthropology, neurology, endocrinology, evolutionary psychology, evolutionary biology, the questions that were from that data set, from that information base, we formulate questions and formulate hypotheses from those that no one wants to consider. And they never fucking will. What do we got here? When a woman said she had her best life before you, AKA she is bored, should we let her go or she's just miscommunicating opinion feelings? Let her go. I'm just gonna, when I get questions like this, it's like, should we just let her go, or should we try to just let her vent and then move on from there? No, there's definitely a sentiment there. There's whenever you tell a joke, when a comedian tells a joke, there's a kernel of truth in that joke. It's the same thing. There's a kernel of truth in her venting. There's a reason why she is. Let her go. Let her fucking just do with it, right? Like, remember the guy who was like this guy right here? I wanted to play this one more time here. Not that one. It was this one.
Stop, honey, you're being annoying. Stop, you're being annoying now.
See how fast guys become nonchalant in relationship? Watch until the end.
Okay, this is agitprop. This is meant to provoke a reaction from guys. Okay, I get it. But guys, the reason why it does is because guys can easily cast themselves in the role of this guy. Now, what this guy did, you don't do this. Never do this.
Honey, come on, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
I heard you. I'm annoying. I got it.
What are you doing?
I'm sitting down. I don't want to annoy you.
What are you doing? I thought we were going out to lunch.
Okay, this is how I know this is staged. Okay? The reason why I know that, okay, well, obviously it's staged because there's a cameraman there, right? The reason that's staged, even if they tried to sell it as if it wasn't, but even if it's not staged, right? No woman cares enough. When you act like a kid, when you act like a little petulant child, That's when shit happens. That's all you're doing is confirming that you are a beta. You're a chump. No woman is like here. She's going to jump on his back here in a second. I'll just let that part play.
Where are you going?
I'm going over here. I don't want to annoy you.
Okay, this is mommy dealing with child.
Oh my god. What are you doing up here? You folding your laundry?
Yeah, I'm packing up.
I was just wanting to see what you were doing.
Clean. Putting on my clothes right and folding them.
Do you want to hang out with me?
Okay, you want to hang out with me? No woman, if a guy's in that state, no woman is asking that question.
No! Leave me alone. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be touched.
Don't touch my
Emil,
nipples.
stop laughing at me. Don't touch my face!
Okay, that's how you know this is bullshit. Okay. But guys, why does that agitate guys? Because they've been in that. Like, I will guarantee you, Akaash has been in that. In fact, I showed the video last week where he was in the closet literally in the closet with his wife. Like, she can do any level of disrespect to him, and he'll pay for it, and he'll go with it, and he'll laugh it off, and he'll think that it's just normal being in a normal relationship. It's going to wear on him it probably already has worn on him because it's affecting his career. But no woman is going to try to make that kind of effort to, oh, I'm sorry, I guess I fucked up. No, that doesn't happen. You'll go upstairs and fold your clothes. She won't come up there. You'll go and have your food. She won't care. She doesn't care about that. You're being a fucking kid. You're just being a little child about the whole thing. You know what you do? You pick up, you leave, and you go to the fucking gym. That's what you do. Come back, and say, well, you can, like, I think a lot of guys think that they're like withdrawing or pulling themselves away from their wives or their women is in some way punishment. It's not. They don't care. They simply, especially if you're in a situation where you have to get behind her and kind of hug on and kiss on her shoulder and all this bullshit. If you have to get into that, if she's not the one doing that to you, you're in a bad relationship. If she's not the one that wants to get with you all the time, is grabbing on you to the point where you're annoyed by it, right? Imagine a guy, switch the gender roles here. Imagine there's the guy and she's the one that's grabbing on him and kissing on him and everything like that. How many guys go, no, stop, you're annoying me. No. And even if a guy did, it would be funny. It would be lighthearted. She really loves him that much. Oh, how endearing. A guy does that, he's acting like a bitch. And what was his response? He acted like a bitch. So something to keep in mind. I wanted to throw that one out there because people were running on that one for a little bit there. But the fact of the matter is like that he handled that incorrectly. So what's the best way to handle that? I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like if that's the case, if you give it if a woman gives you even the sign that she doesn't want you in the same room as her, you've already got a problem there. Number two is, even if that's the case, understand what that is, and then don't act like a little bitch. Just go back to what you're doing and just fucking leave it at that. Let her come to you. When you're going to her and you're annoying her because you're going to her and you're trying to initiate, and you're the one that's like, you're the one that's making all the effort. You're the one that's making all the initiation and stuff like that. If that's your relationship, get the fuck out. Akaash, get the fuck out. If she's not the one that's coming to you, get the fuck out. You already fucked up. It's already over. That's the thing that gets me. Is like I see all of these. Yeah, exactly. Situational awareness. You're 100% correct. You need to be aware of this. Like I've talked about situational. Well, it's in my. Was it Player's Handbook? I talked about like being situationally aware when you're in a club, when you're in a social setting. When you're trying to actually, run game of some sorts, it's good. You have to understand the environment and the conditions in that environment. But also, that's not just about being in a club. It also applies to your marriage. People wonder why, well, Rollo, I wouldn't want to game all the time. When do you stop gaming? And the answer is never. And that's a good thing, because you can use all the skills that you learn from like being single and being red pill aware and learning game. All of those still apply when you're in a marriage. They don't go away. Women's nature doesn't change just because you fucking put a ring on a finger. That doesn't happen. Bear that in mind. You want her to want you. That's the ideal situation. I think what is it? Royce Royce in somebody come in. Royce was saying in the 16 Commandments of Poon, never say I love you first. It's not because you're being a dick about it. Hell, God, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got a good one for you. There you go.
That I love you first?
Cute, sentimental piano music.
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been in that situation.
Courage is the willingness to show up and be all in when you cannot predict the outcome. Courage is saying I love you first.
Which sex do you think says I love you first? Men or women?
Right. And have you ever buried someone you loved?
No.
Like I lost my mom 2 years ago. Like my kids, it's like having your heart live outside of your body. Like to love is to be vulnerable because it's to risk grief and losing. Belonging is vulnerable. We're neurobiologically hardwired to be in connection with other people. And in the absence of connection, there's always suffering. To me, connection is the ability to be in a relationship where we can both give and receive, where we feel seen, heard, believed, valued. If you're doing things in your life, in your work, and there's no risk, no uncertainty, and no exposure, then they're not brave. If you know how it's going to end, that is not courage.
There you go. Men are the ones who will say, I love you first, because because once again, just look at it from like law of averages. 80% of guys are invisible. When those 80% or even the 20% guys, right? When those guys get into a situation where they're finally getting their dick sucked and they're finally having some sort of intimate relation with a woman, it is in their best interests to declare love before the woman does. Because those guys don't know when their next fucking meal is going to be, right? They don't know. They want to lock down that chick because they have such a lack of opportunities that's what they have to do. So there you go. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. This has been a good show. It's been fun. Kind of covered a bunch of different shit here today too, didn't it? The sun is going down in San Diego, California. It is now 4:49. So I got to go get some food. Is there anything else that I need to throw up there for you? I think we're good. Don't forget, we don't have access. You can go get this t-shirt at the merch link, which is like 4 links down. If you ever want any of my merch, I actually do have merch. And you can buy my band merch there too. I've got some things coming up, but let's see. We don't have Access Vegas this week. We have it on December 10th is the next one. Also, people keep asking me, when is the next Audible? When is the Audible coming out for Reignite? It's also coming out on December 10th. Just about done. We're putting the finishing touches on it. I am using the same reader for this book that Aaron Clary uses for the menu and for A World Without, it's A World Without Men, and then whatever his latest one is. This guy's name is Keith. He's a really good reader. I think you guys will like him. So I'm using a new guy, but very professional. Keith's done a very good job up to this point, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy the Audible version of Reignite. It's probably the number one book that people have been asking me for in Audible. So, and then people asked me earlier, I got an email today, and it was from a guy saying that he wanted to give my first book to his son, but like the print one, and he knows that I am actually diligently working on the the second edition of the first book to correct the spelling errors, to the syntax, the size of the font. I know. So I'm going to correct all the mistakes, or I'm correcting all the mistakes in the first book. Mistakes with the typos and everything else. The content wise, nothing's changing. It's just I'm tightening up the language, and I'm tightening up the typos and everything else that go along, and the point size of the type. You're right. The point size was very small. I thought that was going to be the only book I'd ever write. That's why I wanted to cram as much good shit in as I could, which I think is why it was so good. So I am doing that, but I got a question from a guy asking me if he should buy my book now to give to his kid, because, and I just saw this, Canada is now very anti-masculine. They're very anti-manosphere. They're very anti-red pill. They don't have any clear definition of why or what they're what is misogynistic. They're very short on definite terms when it comes to, as everyone is. But apparently Canada has decided that they are going to, I'm probably never going to be able to go to Canada because my passport would probably give me away. But the guy wanted to buy the book and didn't know if he should buy it now or if he should wait till the reissue comes out, because Canada is being very like Gestapo when it comes to red pill and manosphere stuff, which is kind of a sign of the times right now. It's Canada, so whatever, but it kind of shows where people's mentality is. And I saw the video, I think it was Ryan reposted it. I saw the video of the legislature, whatever that is in Canada, the House of Commons, I don't know what it is, talking about the red pill, using it by name, red pill and manosphere, using them by name, and how they needed to block those sites that were offensive, that were against women, that were misogynistic. And so just a sign of the times, I guess. But I'm going to tell you right now, buy that book now. So you can get it across the border, because it makes me wonder if in certain countries, if my books won't be banned in Canada just because of the reputation. They don't even know what's in the books. They've never read the books for content. They don't know. They just know that it's by Rollo Tomasi, and that's good enough for them. So something that needs to be addressed. So buy your books now if you live in Canada. Buy a lot of them. You can buy them and then sell them on the black market. You can stock up on my books now, so that when I used to joke about this. I said at some point the red pill or my books are going to be smuggled into certain countries and read by candlelight, like Christians in Maoist China, like in secret caves, but by candlelight. Got to read the Rational Mail. Today's the passage of amused mastery. I thought that was a funny joke back in the day. Now it's actually happening. So something to keep in mind. Anyways, so no Access Vegas on Wednesday, but the following Wednesday we will. I am going in for my surgery on December 23rd. So I don't know if I will have a show on that following Sunday. It's just going to depend on what my health issues are like. I'm going to be at home. I'm going to be downstairs. My studio's downstairs. So my guts will be in God knows how many different stitch ups. I don't know what they're going to fucking do. I have no idea what they're going to end up doing. So I don't know how the show is going to work out between the 23rd and probably the first or second week of January. I'm going to do my damnedest to at least do some abbreviated shows if I am up to it. So I'm just sort of giving you guys a heads up right now. So you're not wondering what happened to Rollo. Did he die? No, I'll be fine. I'm good. This is nothing like life threatening or anything like that. It just needs to get done. And then, so then in January, we get into a new year, we get into new things. I'll still be writing on Substack. So I can always write. So I'll be doing that. So if you want to keep in touch with me during that time, but that will be from the 23rd, December 23rd, I would say probably until like the second or third week of January. I'm going to be on limited mobility. Let's just say my surgeon says you won't be able to get in the gym for 6 weeks. I'm like, fuck. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, man. Thank you for all the well wishes and prayers. And so they're very, very much appreciated, especially now. Yes, I will be in the hospital on Christmas Day. What can you do? So anyways, I will be flying back to Las Vegas tomorrow, and I'll be back in Vegas starting tomorrow and back on my regular duties by Tuesday. So that said, I'll see you guys later. Also, be sure if you haven't bought the book, get the book, man. The best way to support this show is not super chats. It's buying the book and passing it on to other people as well. So please do that. Also, if you're interested in the Reignite program, we are up to, I think, 100 members now. So we're doing pretty good. Might want to get in now. The link's right there. I'm doing Loom videos, personalized Loom videos. They want me to do Loom videos, so I'm doing those. If you're undecided about Reignite, and you go, hey, I'm interested in this, this, and this. Can you get Rollo to give me a personalized Loom video? Ask Joe Marone, my partner, and I'll do a Loom video for you. And hopefully you'll join after that. We have a really tight community. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. And let's see if I can do this from the side. I can. Can I? There we go. See you guys later.
I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by and went over like a matchbox stereo. My thoughts now let go. Bound to keep me up all night. But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know if maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. I could have the best in my life. Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up every wall while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name? She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and sleeping with her hair like she's Claudia Kelly. So baby, come ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting nasty, working up and down on your body. Ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song on your body. Baby, we'll get down to it all night. But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know if maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
Listening podcast from the professional of the professional. Registered trademark 2025. All right. Reserve them. Yeah.